What?
Did you gain weight? Welcome back to the last one, Oz!
Woo!
We've done it!
We actually made it.
We actually made it through. If you've been watching us this far, thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed this, because I've actually really thoroughly enjoyed speaking on camera for a long period of time.
Yeah.
My tongue gets sore after the first 10 minutes, but I just power through it.
Well, you'd be used to that with the wife, wouldn't you? You don't complain to her about it. Why are you complaining to us about it?
You don't know that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But, speaking of butts, we're gonna cut all
Speaking of butts, the butt of every joke, Oz!
This one is going to be a long one, which you can probably already tell from seeing the timestamp. We don't know yet,
Okay,
though.
look, this one's gonna be a long one. Like, come on, man.
Okay,
Stop with the sex jokes.
get your head out the gutter.
Okay.
And out of everything else.
Every other orifice, every other dip in...
Every other sexual innuendo you can think of. There's too many, I know.
You know what, yeah.
But so, this one is the worst one. We can all agree wholeheartedly. So, if you're new to the videos, I don't know why I even say that now with the last one. Maybe the algorithm sent you our way. But this episode was the worst.
This was probably the most poorly written and conceived thing that I've ever seen. More poorly conceived than me. But I'm going to stop with the
self-hating jokes.
Yeah. Anyway,
from the very, because some episodes have been pretty hit or miss.
Well, the one with Mandalorian when he came back, that was a good episode.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, it didn't make much sense being Book of Boba Fett.
It did. But it didn't make any sense being in Book of Boba Fett. But this episode is by far the worst Star Wars has ever been.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, folks, I've been slowly increasing my note gain over these past few episodes, but oh boy.
Yeah, it took you literally an entire working day to watch.
I mean, I did other things too.
Yeah,
but
you did.
It took me... Oh, the episode was longer, but...
It took about 6 hours.
There was also so many issues from the get-go.
Yep.
Like, they say one line, and then another line, and they had to pause and just write out a whole paragraph.
At least every 30 seconds.
There's a lot of notes.
Yeah.
A lot of things to go through, a lot of things to chat about. So let's just dive back, like, right into it now, I think.
Yeah.
We've done enough forward. Sit down, relax, place in the background.
Yep.
Let's get going.
Let's do it.
So, we open up with probably the most underwhelming recap I've ever seen. It made no sense to me. Just even, before we even get to the actual show. The recap was very confusing. If you had never seen any of the previous episodes, it was like, I think I kind of get the gist, but also there were lines that like, oh, we're going to go to war. And then it was like, Mando's going off and doing things. And then it was like, something blew up. We're going to go to war. Why? What was the build-up? It made no sense.
Yeah.
And there was trying to be cooler than I think it actually was.
They're always trying that.
Yeah. And I just felt dread mostly, because anything that had Boba in it was pretty dumb. All of his lines were pretty dumb in the recap as well.
Seriously, as soon as we get back to Boba after Mandalorian,
as soon as Fennec showed up,
Mr. Crap.
It just...
Yep.
Like, it is completely... And at least for us, we're able to enjoy it. I'm sure other people will have problems with Mando and some of his storytelling techniques, but as soon as Fennec shows up and then jumps from like 2 stories down to the ground and does a little roll and is like, "Hi, I've got a job for you. Here's an empty satchel."
No, I'll do it for free. Here's a... What, was it empty?
I don't know.
It was full.
It was very...
Made a clink when he...
It made a... Like, they always do that, but like at least in... I think of like in the movie in Shrek 2, when the king goes to Puss in Boots, he throws the satchel that's really full, and then he like cuts it open to see, and he's like, "Okay, we have a deal." Where in this show, it's like, here's like a little sad sack of apparently money, you don't even know. They throw it to him, and they're like, okay, yeah. Doesn't look at all full or...
What is this? Oh, that's half a kilo of spice.
Yeah.
Don't snort it all at once.
We don't know. And
Put
so
that into your helmet filter.
They're tossing around money that kind of has no value.
Yeah, we don't know how much it all costs. Like one engine for a starship, which was like a high-end starship, cost 3,000 credits.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't take credits, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
anyways,
money makes no sense.
Oh, okay, and then so we get an opening shot of where we are. We're back at, like, Boba's home, basically, is what he's calling it now, his little city. And I realised something. As someone, this is just another little tangent rant. Because they're using Unreal Engine, right?
Yep.
The mountains and the cliffs that are surrounding look very similar to a Quixel engine asset.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you got the Quixel engine.
Or you got Quixel with Unreal Engine.
Quixel's great.
Yeah.
It's available for free. What it is. High fidelity, high poly, incredibly high detail.
But not... Okay, they have high... Here's a little game engine tangent thing. They might be high quality and high fidelity, but they're not good performance or game-ready assets. Like, we've been using them for some testing on a game idea, and there's fundamentally... Basically, all they do is a 3D scan object, try to make it the best they could in, 2 days, and then ship it out.
So there's no optimization for it.
There's no optimization, and, for example, things with level of detail, so in game
LED.
engines, when you walk away from something, the detail gets smaller and whatever. The normals and the way that it looks presentable degrades the further away you go, and you can easily fix that by just putting
generating
it in,
LEDs.
No, it generates LED, but the LEDs themselves are poor quality.
Okay.
All you got to do is go into the engine or into a 3D program and say, "Hey, recalculate the normals," and then it will do it. But they haven't done it. It's just little things like that. Obviously, that a lot of the assets are rushed.
You're a fountain of knowledge.
Yeah, they're high quality, but they're not. It's why games right now don't use complete 3D scanned models of stuff. Because it performance-wise, it won't be good. And so that's a little... I saw that around the corner, and I was like, oh, it's like the Wilhelm scream of VFX. There's actually a Wilhelm scream of VFX I saw on a VFX React from Corridor Crew. They actually went through... the guy from Mythbusters. What's his... Is it Jamie?
Which one? The one who died? The hot girl?
The one that worked at ILM.
Well,
actually, a few of them did.
Is he the one that got cancelled?
No.
The one that looks like a walrus?
He's got a YouTube channel now.
The one that
Maybe he did get cancelled.
Okay, it's the one that got cancelled, yeah.
But he's still doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Because he worked on a bunch of stuff, and he pointed out there's this kit, because they used to do kit bashing with actual models for VFX back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And there's an actual kit that they used, and that kit always had this distinct piece in it. It was a train or a tank kit, and every single VFX art house always had this one little kit piece that they'd put in all the sci-fi stuff to make it look sci-fi, but it's just something they put on a tank or a train. And so they said that's the Wilhelm scream of actual kit bashing for models. And I feel like we're going to start seeing more Wilhelm screams in VFX, because a lot of the stuff that you see is just getting reused and repurposed.
Yeah.
So that's this little tangent I had. The first thing I saw was I'm taking out the experience right there, because that looks like something that I have used myself.
Okay, maybe it's just too early in the morning, but I understood Wilhelm scream, and that's about it.
I don't care. If you don't understand what I'm saying, that's okay. I'm high on sugar. Let's get into the story now, though.
Yeah.
That's just my little tangent
all good,
pretext. So the first line Boba says, while standing in the ruins, is, "We are at war." And they keep saying it like it's a prophecy or an event that's going to happen. And I think they're trying to relate it a lot to modern day news and stories. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're going to go to war. We're going to go to war." And so a lot of that stuff's crept into this story of we're going to go to war, even though it's not going to be some world war or planet war, whatever. It's going to be if you can even call it a crime lord war.
Yeah, it's called a gang war. And even then...
It's not even that much of a gang.
Bloods and Crips have it out harder than these guys do.
Legit!
And these guys bought 2 mega Terminator tanks,
But also, okay, he's we're going to war. But I'm if you're a real mob boss, you'd show these punks not to mess with you, by messing them up.
Yes.
If they're oh, we're going to take over your land, you would just go and, stomp on their feet, do the usual mob boss thing of is it in The Godfather, or is it in the mob boss movie where they just go to some guy's grocery store, vegetable thing, and they just take him out, and they wreck him.
Oh, yeah, Well, there's a few movies.
There's a few, like, it's like every mob boss.
There's Goodfellas, there's the one that's got 90-year-old Robert De Niro in, The Irishman.
I think it was The Irishman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, you know that old, when he was beating that dude up?
Yeah.
You know how old he was supposed to be at that time?
How old?
Like 35.
Mm.
Yeah, VFX doesn't exactly work when you have a 90-year-old man wearing it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Similar thing with this show, Boba Fett.
But yeah, just things like that where it's like, we're going to war. It's like, well, you can prevent war by instoking fear in those people who want to disrespect you.
Yeah. Why would we be afraid of war when, like, the best battle in this show has been the train part, right? You know what I mean? Like, we've seen war in the bloody thing's called Star Wars.
Yeah.
We expect, when we hear the word, oh, we're at war.
Yeah.
In Star Wars, like, we're thinking of bloody X-Wings and...
Naboo had a greater war with the droids and the... Misa no... Wana...
Misa horny! Misa love you long time! Misa make a boom boom!
That war scene had more conflict than what Boba is saying they're going to go to war to.
Again,
like, that was a better war battle scene than this next hour of content.
Yeah. And it probably cost like half as much to do it.
Yeah. Also, they had one job. He had one job.
What was the one job?
Keeping the casino safe.
Oh, yeah.
No one else was on his side. No one respected him. Everyone else was, like, neutral towards him. The casino was the only place that gave him actual tribute and was like, look, there's other places that came up and were like, tribute in respect to you. But after having all these conversations, I thought the casino was the one place he always went to check on and make sure business is going good. And the one place that wasn't like...
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, man. Their business didn't just increase under his tutelage. Their business straight up exploded.
Literally!
Yeah.
He had one job as the mob boss of the area was to keep, like, you will always have, like, you see in all the mafia movies, they'll have those, you know, a few mob people be that business to make sure nothing goes wrong. Or, like, you know, to tell if anything fishy's happening. In this, just Boba came in and was like, how are you doing? She's like, I'm a bit nervous all the time because, as you know, I'm not used to this conflict. Usually Jabba takes care of it all.
Don't worry, I will help you.
I will make sure your business explodes.
Your business will be booming.
Exactly. And so now they're standing in the ruins of one of the only places that actually respected or, like, allowed Boba to take control over.
Yep. Well, actually, there was one other business. The water merchant, who got stolen from.
But I think after that, he was pretty salty.
Oh, yeah.
I reckon after that whole dealing, he was probably like, alright, I'm not gonna risk like that. Yeah. That was not a good business
But that's
move.
my point, right? Is that this guy came and paid you tribute, and he's like, hey, can you help me out? And he's like, okay.
And then you screw him over.
You screw him over. So he screws over one dude. He allows another place to be blown up. Why would anyone, you know, work with this guy?
And then Fennec goes and says this wonderful line, it was inevitable. But, like, well, actually, it wasn't inevitable. If you weren't so soft, maybe a little more heavy-handed, as Fennec tends to be sometimes, and struck more of fear, respect into people, or heck, just cut the snake off at his head. People coming into the spice trade, you say, nah, not here, leave.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. If he wanted to do this actually peacefully and didn't want to have a war, he could have gone to them and been like, okay, you want to have the spice trade? Fine. But you got to keep it away from these certain areas.
Yeah, and if they don't, then you go up and, you know... I feel like me, being the good person that I am, could do a better job than Boba Fett.
Well, he said it in the show. How many lives could be saved if people just talked and thinked? You know?
He doesn't do much of the latter. Like, he talks a lot.
Yeah.
More than he should. But then, okay, again, this is the opening scene, and I've already written 2 long paragraphs of me just ranting, basically. Then, after Fennec says it was inevitable, Boba's like, even if we win, there might not be anything left to this city. And, okay, they're trying to make stakes here. They're like, okay, even if we fight the war, maybe the thing we're fighting for won't be there in the end. Like, maybe you shouldn't battle. And then so I'm like, what's the point in fighting?
Yeah, if you're going to destroy the thing, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Because if there's nothing left, then why don't you just leave and let the spice trade come through and their business flourish? Then you destroy everything. Because your one place has already been blown up. Again, it's just
flabbergasted to buy it.
It's just the writer's been like, okay, here's one line. This is where I think, and I told you this before, and Chad laughed at it as well. I think this script was written by an AI because it feels like they've just gone through all the previous scripts that have been action flicks and movies and whatever, and then some of these lines are just like, oh, what's a word that will, like, some sort of discussion we can have? The war's coming. But it's inevitable. But if we go to war, then we'll look like it. Just sounds like some cliche.
I think it was written by something with less awareness than a modern day artificial intelligence. I think it was written by a liberal.
I mean, at least the AI scripts that I read, they're actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
and they get to the point, but they're like hilarious. Like, have you heard the Batman one?
Yeah, with the Joker.
Yeah, the Joker. It's like there's a gift, and it's like, what was in the gift? Dead parents for Batman. Like, that's funny. That's actually humorous.
But this is just like, what they've done is they've just input like certain word prompts and then the AI
like,
just spit this out.
War is inevitable, but also we shouldn't go to war because then we'll lose everything. So we should just have diplomacy, but then also
we shouldn't, but also we should. But also I got to protect this business. Let's let it blow up. It's just they establish rules, they break them all the time, and they just flip flop back and forth. It's just ridiculous. This whole thing.
And the Mando shows up. And they're like, hey, did you get the foot soldiers? And he goes, yeah. And they're like, okay, how much is it? And he's like, free. And they still don't think about me hiring some sort of paid guns.
Yeah.
He's got Mando for free. He's got these foot soldiers for free. You still keep saying you've got lots of money. Why not just go and... I'm sure, I am 100% sure, in the world of Star Wars, there's always paid mercenary you can get.
Yeah.
There has to be.
And if anybody was to know those sorts of people...
It would be the people who are in that industry! It would be Boba Fett and Fennec and Mando! But they don't do it! They don't do it!
They don't do it?
Why?
I don't know!
They've got all this money! And they don't invest it in anything!
Wait, so you're telling me that there's some person who has a lot of, like, power and
money.
And
Yeah.
they're making awful, terrible decisions with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess this is where Disney's kind of their own corporate culture has brought into it, you know? Just like the appointment thing.
Oh.
I think this show might have been written by a... who are those women that, like, they do your appointments and they sit outside your office and like, he'll see you now. Who are those? What are they called? Receptionists.
Yeah.
This show is written by a bunch of receptionists. That's what it is, man. That's why the action scenes suck. That's why nothing makes sense. That's why every bloody thing is, do we have an appointment?
Yeah.
Like, that's the highest stakes for them.
Yeah. There's no appointment. Like, you just see a receptionist writing the script and it's like, do you have an appointment? No. Oh, this is going to be a thriller. It's going to an appointment. Oh, heavy-handed.
I'm going in anyway.
Oh!
Dude, that's the thing, right? If we ever get swatted, I'll just tell the police, excuse me, you don't have an appointment. Oh, sorry, sir. How are you doing? Are you okay for 3:30 Friday? We'll come raid you? Yeah, great.
Yeah, great. Honey, book the flights. We're going to Hawaii. But yeah, and then they have another random discussion where... So Boba's like, free? Why is it free? And they're like, they want the spice trade to go away. And then Fennec is like, that's not free. That's most of Jabba the Hutt's business. Okay, Jabba is dead.
He's been dead for like 3 years.
More than I think this has been like 8 years.
It should be funny.
What?
It's like, if Boba picked up and was like, he's been dead. And you're like, wait, your name's not Jabba the Hutt? You thought I was Jabba this whole time?
Well, you look at. See, and that's when Boba can just go boom.
Yep.
That would make sense.
Shoot her right in the robot insides.
It's so dumb because Jabba's dead. It took me so long to figure out what she was saying.
Yeah.
What she was saying was that the Freetown people want to get rid of the spice trade. And she's like, no, that's good business. But the whole reason for this war and Boba's whole conflict with the Spice Syndicate
is to
stop the spice. But then Fennec's like, but that's good business. What have you been doing these past 7 episodes?
It's funny, they begin the episode with that and they end the episode with that. It's like they literally invalidate the entire purpose of the show end to end.
Yeah! Yeah! The whole point is to stop the spice trade from happening! So why are you saying not to stop the spice trade if that's what you're trying to do? Am I missing something? Am I being retarded here? Is there some plot point I'm not connecting and I'm not smart enough for the show to understand Fennec's point of view in this discussion and conversation? Or is this show just dumb?
I'm sorry, man. I do have to say, I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'm right? When you're angry and you do the rage, you are like Jerry Seinfeld when he does the rage.
Are you kidding me?
What's the deal with buses?
What's the deal with Boba Fett?
Alright, yeah, so they completely invalidate why they're doing everything.
Yeah, because then she's like, there's a lot to be made from the orange powder. We know that is the whole point of this conflict.
Wait a minute. You can make money selling drugs? Someone tell the CIA! Quick!
And then Boba's like, no. In the long run, Mos Espa can be a prosperous city under my protection.
As we stand in the ruins of a business that was under your protection! By the way, does the bar seem a bit quieter to you today?
Like, can you not see anything more contradicting than standing in your own rubble saying, I will protect this city?
It's like a CIA, it's like an FBI agent standing on the ruins of 9/11 saying, we did a good job.
Like, what?
By the way, the patrons here are a bit dusty, aren't they? Someone get the janitor around to clean the skulls and bones up.
Yeah, the blood is staining the carpet.
Oh, man.
No. And then I think it's, I don't know who said this again, but one of them said, if he does not, we are all doomed.
Oh, yeah, if the marshal doesn't show up with the people.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, then I'm like, well, you have all these riches that you could have spent on muscle, which you don't. Plus, you haven't even seen the foot soldiers. You don't know what their skull is, how many there are. There was no count. It's just Freetown's a little townfolk village. You don't know how many people. Later down the track, I do mention how many people were in that group.
You counted?
Yeah.
Okay.
There were not that many. And the more I think over this, the more I'm convinced that this is written by an AI. Much like Luke Skywalker's face or voice. Like, it just feels so soulless, computer-generated, that you just look at what was media being for the past 50 years, and you get some of the core components, and you slap it all together, but it doesn't work because it doesn't make sense.
This was made by a bad person. Bad person.
Yeah. Whoever wrote out the scene.
Whoever wrote this whole thing.
Yeah. Jon Favreau?
I don't know, it wasn't Jon Favreau.
Well, it says written by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
He might have done outline, but this thing stinks of corporate intervention.
Yeah, it does.
It's like they've gone in there like, okay, so here's the outline, and they're like, oh, what about the guys from the other episodes? Add them in too. Yeah. And send this sort of message, and send this sort of message. We need this sort of line, and this sort of line.
I wouldn't have put my name on the credits if this was the case.
I would. If I had to make this, if I was forced to make this, I would have quit. I would have quit.
I
Like,
would.
me and Shad have bigger disagreements about, like, do we cut this 20-second clip from a video?
Yeah.
Okay?
Which is still usually really good content, but it's like weighing out, does it have good pacing? Have you already repeated yourself?
Well, whether or not, right? Whoever's right doesn't matter. I say I'm right, he says he's right, he's probably right. But here's the thing, right?
You're right?
If you're doing this for a Hollywood movie, multi-million-dollar things, it is a knife wound to have this in your career. This is a knife wound to your career.
Although I feel like Jon Favreau is just untouchable now. He's because he's made Iron Man, he's made Elf, he's made a whole bunch of big things that have, even if they weren't like commercially successful, like the live action Lion King and Jungle Book and stuff.
Yeah.
He has proven to the people who give him the money and the job that he'll do what they like. Whatever.
He's competent.
Yeah, he's competent.
Yeah.
And I think he just has those relationships now where like people are like, hey, we can trust you to not go off the rails and give us the money that we need to keep doing stuff. Like he's a safe bet. But with that safe bet, you're gonna get crap like this. So yeah, I agree. I reckon he wrote an outline, gave it to a bunch of other people to write out the scripts, and did not review it, or maybe he did and was just like...
Maybe he was busy.
I reckon he was. I reckon he was busy doing either other movie stuff we haven't heard of yet, or he was just doing more season 3. Like, he was just like, Boba Fett, give it to the interns.
Yeah.
Let me write my other stories.
It's like, I used to watch the videos that we made, right? I don't really anymore. I read the comments, but I don't really watch the videos.
Because we're in them.
Yeah, you know. Sure, like, when I do go back and watch a clip here or there, I'm surprised that I say half the stuff that I do. But literally, as soon as we press the end record button, I've forgotten everything that I've said. I don't even remember how we started this video, unless I think about it really hard. Okay? But yeah, so just to think that he's done this, if he went back and watched it, he'd probably be ashamed.
Yeah.
And he should be.
Yeah. So, really bad storytelling, and... It's just... it's the favourite word I like to use from Shad. It's nonsensical.
It's nonsensical. Well, I think Shad's favourite word is alright.
Yeah, but my favourite word of his that he uses when describing stories that are poorly written is nonsensical. Okay. Because it is nonsensical.
Yeah, it is.
It makes no sense.
This whole thing literally makes no sense.
And then Boba actually comes with a good idea. It's like, we'll lock down the palace. Go to your big palace. You've got your big pet alien creature. You got your ship there. You got your place, and you're on a hill. Anyone who comes up to attack you, you can just do.
Yeah, you know the thing that was a pain in the ass for you to sneak into?
Yeah, maybe use the palace. But then the kids are like, it's a bad idea, and I'm like, okay, if you're talking about bad ideas, did you listen to the last conversation that your boss just had with his like co-partner about all this stuff with going to war and protecting the people and standing the rubble of the one place he was responsible for? That's all a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. Okay, it's a bad idea. Didn't you cut out your own eye and replace it with a webcam? You want to talk about bad ideas?
Your youth has been a bad idea.
Yeah, you've made some poor choices, trust fund kid. Yeah, it's retarded.
Yeah, and then the kids are like, if you want to go hide in your fortress, go ahead. We're staying. And I wrote, it has been 3 minutes and 54 seconds with recap and intro included. And I already am so angry at how bad all of this is.
Yeah. None of it makes any sense.
None of it makes any sense. What do you mean you're staying in the rubbles of a sanctuary that has no advantage? You're stuck. People can just easily, like the people sneak up on them all the time. Boba's idea of going to the palace was... Oh, and why is Boba listening to these kids that haven't been the most competent in general anyways? Yeah. With the Wookiee, with getting the mayor's assistant, like...
They stole water from one dude. That's their resume.
Yeah. Everything else, they haven't been the most good at.
Well, to be fair, my resume is I'm a cheeky little bastard.
Yeah, but that works for us here.
I guess so, yeah. And then doesn't she say we're staying here, the people need our protection?
Yeah.
They had your protection, and you're standing in the remnants of that protection.
And no one else wants your protection.
Yeah.
The whole reason for this conflict is that no one wants you there.
Yeah. The people need our protection, so let's have our war zone in the middle of this highly populated
That was
city.
my other... Do I go on to that? Maybe I do. Let's just go through my stuff. But yeah, okay. I remember writing that down. So, they're trying to be dramatic, and like, Boba doesn't know what's best for the city. The kids who grew up there, they know the best. The kids of the streets. But right now, everyone's looking senseless, nonsensical, and just plot forgotten characters.
Yep.
They don't understand where they came from, where they're going, and what anything is going. Like,
can you give me a name, just the first name of literally one of the mods?
No, they're all just mods. They don't have names.
And when they say mods, they mean modified or like Discord moderators? Because that's what I see when I look at them. I see a Discord moderator's wet dream. A bit old for their taste.
Shut up. But yeah, this whole drama with like, we have to stand here for the people and whatever. I played in primary school Star Wars a lot.
Like when you say you played a video game, or like,
No.
hey kids, let's play Star Wars.
The ladder. Like I would be Jedi and Sith, and we'd reenact Episode 3 with Obi-Wan and Anakin, and
I played Matrix, but then it ended when I punched a kid in the face. I'm not kidding, that actually happened.
That's why I laugh, because I believe it.
Yeah.
I can see you just being like, let's play Matrix.
it was a side of the feel like.
But the coolest time I had was a time before school, and there was a bunch of kids who would play footy in the morning. But for some reason, one of the cool kids, had watched Star Wars the night before and knew I played Star Wars a lot, and was like, "Hey, all the boys, like we were talking about Star Wars, and we were wondering if we could do like a giant Star Wars like battle in the schoolyard." And there were like probably 60 guys, 60 like small boys, but we all divided ourselves into Sith and Jedi. And in the school ground, we were on either side, and then we marched in together, and we were like, "Rah!" And then we had a full-on lightsaber battle.
Dude, that is warfare right there.
It happened once, and I still remember it, and it was so cool. Anyways, this is why this comment here makes more
chills,
sense.
Man. That was good.
My primary school lunch times, and before school and stuff, where we played Star Wars, had better stakes, story, and overall common sense than this entire show has had at all.
Yeah.
Like, we had a hierarchy, there was elements of drama.
Teams.
Yeah, like, there'd be times where one kid would stand up and be like, "We'll fight for the Republic! We'll kill the Sith!" Like, all these sorts of things. And the Sith kids would be like, "The Jedi are the ones that are evil!" And we're like 7, 8 years old, and I'm like looking back and I'm like, wow, we were just like rehearsing basically just Star Wars we'd seen in video games. But I tell you what, it was way better than any of this garbage.
You know what kids have now?
Let's drop faulty towers. It's the guy from Fortnite.
Yeah. John Wick from Fortnite.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, then I joined the comment with the people who live here need our protection. Well, they don't want it because they don't respect Boba. And probably even less now that the sanctuary, or the casino, which they call the sanctuary after this, is blown up. Plus, if you were at the palace, they'd come to you, keeping everyone else in the city safe.
Yeah.
That's why, if there's a fight, you take it outside, or whatever.
Do you want to take this outside so we don't hurt other people in here or break anything?
Yeah. No, that's basically them forgetting the take it outside rule in fights.
Yeah.
Which proves to me that these... Okay, and we talk about this sometimes with how the reason a lot of these... I mean, there's the political reason of why people are writing stories like this. But another more real reason is because they haven't been in wars. They haven't had to fight in the army.
They haven't done their research.
They haven't experienced it. The reason why Tolkien's universe is so real with war is because he was in one. He was in one.
Yeah.
And so it's very easy to convey the feelings of that when you've actually experienced it. But I feel like people who are writing this have never in a day in their life felt threatened or had a punch in or whatever. So they don't know the rules of, when there's conflict, you take it outside.
And it's not just things like, realism in the world and, the situations that you're in. It's also the characters. He based the best character, the hero, Samwise Gamgee, on the British non-commissioned officer, what do you call it? Just foot soldier, infantry, right? Like, because there's officers and then there's, whatever the other ones, they're called non-coms, aren't they? Non-commissioned? Whatever. He based Samwise off the run-of-the-mill British soldier, and he based Frodo off himself, he was an officer. He saw himself as, sure, officers had a burden of, command, right? But the real hero was the regular man. That was the point, right?
Yeah.
And so there you go, you have the two best, you have the greatest story ever told, basically, right? And with these people, who do they base their characters off? Oh, you don't have an appointment. These scars, the interior scar, the scars inside, or,
Yeah, like
they're basing that you base things off of what your experience is.
Yeah.
You know, no one can actually invent anything that is outside of their experience.
And then we cut to the bad guys plotting how to do Boba stuff. Now suddenly these guys are a lot more logical
And reasonable, too.
than the last conversation. And there's kind of a plot twist with realizing that it wasn't the biker gang that killed the Sand People.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, because here's the thing, right? He already told Boba Fett that we're already paying those dudes for protection as well.
Mm.
So why would you frame them?
Because then he would kill them, and then they wouldn't need to pay for protection anymore.
I know that, right?
Yeah.
But if that's the case, and the guys who did kill them are already paying... Like, here's the thing, right? The guys that actually did kill them were the ones that had already hired the people they'd set up to kill them.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Either just hire them and use them to kill the dudes and leave a mark.
Yeah.
Or just do it, like... It doesn't make any sense.
It's just...
Why would you implicate the people that already work for you? Why not implicate someone else? Oh, it was remnants of the Hutts. Oh, it was another Sand People tribe.
Yeah.
Why implicate and get the... Am I...
Again, it's just trying to be a clever plot twist, but really...
It doesn't make any sense!
The one thing I can think of is that the Pike Syndicate, they're like, okay, we know Boba will probably go on a revenge strike with the... Although even then, that's before he took... No, you're right. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, because Boba wasn't at all a threat or anything.
Yeah.
Like, he went in to talk about, you know...
All he had was did he have a gun on him? Looked like he just had the stick.
He had the stick.
Why put
maybe a rifle.
Put a thermal detonator in the bag you gave him. He's not going to check it.
Like, he wasn't yet a crime lord boss. He was just a guy with some Sand People.
Yeah. Guy was on a bantha.
Yeah.
You could send out, like, I don't know, 50 soldiers and just murk him in the middle of the desert. Problem solved. Guy took a week and a half to leave camp and come back.
Yeah. But then, okay, so they're in the sanctuary now, like they're in that explosion, but they haven't moved, so they have spies on the enemy team saying, oh, they're all chilling there, I guess they're hiding out there, which I wouldn't think that. I would think that they're just conveying the area and then they go back to their palace.
Well, you don't even need spies. You could just walk through the local area and go up to a person and be like, hey, have you seen Boba? Yeah, I saw him going to the old sanctuary place. Yeah. If a guy with a gun asked me, have you seen this local crime lord? You can bet I'll tell him.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless the local crime lord was someone to be feared or respected. Luckily, Boba's not either of those things, apparently.
But then they're like, it'll take extreme measures to remove them. Well, if you've had any experience with these three people, they're pretty soft bounty hunters. You've got 3 soft bounty hunters, a bunch of teens, and you bring them over, you've got 1 Wookiee and 2 pigs. And we see, like in the next scene, basically, how easy it was to draw them out.
Yeah.
The extreme measures.
So you know how they had that bomb that destroyed the sanctuary? Why not just throw one of those through the open door? We already know that it works at killing everybody in there.
I don't think the writers are smart enough to use that idea twice.
Okay, but they did it at the end of the episode that came before this.
Yeah.
So why not just go...
I can't answer that question because the answer would be coulda, shoulda, woulda, didn't. And then Cad Bane is all just like, I think I have an idea on how to draw out Boba Fett.
What was the idea? To just walk in and try and
I think he was going to tell him that the Pike Syndicate killed the Sand People.
Yeah, but the guy told him not to tell him that.
Yeah, but also that word, the wording of that's like, I think I have an idea to draw Boba Fett out. That felt way too wordy, and the performance of it,
it's definitely
very
ADR.
jarring.
Definitely ADR.
Very jarring.
Yeah. I was expecting him to come over with Grogu or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Or a sand person. You know?
That would have... just anything.
Literally anything else.
Anything than just showing up. Because guess what? He draws them out by just showing up. Like, they talk about, oh, it's extreme measures, they're not going to come out or, like, enter or whatever. And then later down the track, they're like, Boba, there's someone here to see you. And he's like, oh, someone sneaked up on me. I better go out and talk to them. Like, if people are saying it's going to take extreme measures to take them out, then it better look like that they actually take some effort to bring them out of the rubble. Instead of them just walking out, and they're just trying to make the conversations more interesting. That's all they're trying to do in putting in these words of extreme, and I know how to draw them out. Like, it's the same thing with the conversation before. They're just trying to elevate the conversation to make it more threatening and get viewers engaged. Yeah. But in the end, when we go... Because that's giving an expectation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're expecting it to be difficult to do. But then when they show up and actually do it, and it just...
There's no subtext.
There's no subtext. It is sucky writing and storytelling and just direction. And I am shocked, especially in the opening scene, that actors read this out and were like, I'm okay with performing this in front of a camera.
Well, they might probably not have been, actually. Because, like, even the people who did, what do you call it, Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
They knew the writing sucked. Peter Dinklage was like, you know, the army of the undead's coming and they moved the people down to a crypt.
Yeah.
No one thought of that.
Yeah.
Oh, so stupid.
Yeah, so...
Actors aren't dumb. Well, actually they are.
There are some
Most
dumb
of
ones.
them.
I mean, it could have just been that they did different readings of lines, and so they didn't know what was coming out in the end.
Yeah.
Maybe they... Because what could have maybe easily happened is that they could have been like, oh, this doesn't make much sense, can we, like, workshop it? They workshop it, it makes more sense, but then plot-wise it doesn't, like... mix with what they've done, and so they're probably just taken out those new takes and used the original scripting lines of whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't know how it's made, but if we can just tell from the final product that definitely you need to have some what's it called, reevaluation of what's it called when you have meetings in your workplace, like evaluations.
I think they call those meetings.
Like working evaluations to see how well your performance is doing as a worker.
Oh.
Like working evaluations, do it with your writers maybe, and some of the other people who are in charge of story, and talk to them. Why does this show suck?
No. Ask them a better question. Why is this show good? Ask the writer, what have you done here that's good?
I don't think so, because then they get all self-indulged and like, oh, what, you see, we had the inclusion, we had some action, we had some stakes, we talked about, you know, like...
And what effect does this have on any of the characters in the thing? Well, you know how Boba wanted to, like, be a crime lord? At the end of this, he's not sure if he does.
You're brewing something in me. Okay, and then it cuts to an X-Wing. An X-Wing's landing.
X-Wing? I remember that from the movie!
Yeah! And the last season of Mando, an X-Wing showed up, and guess who was inside it?
Luke Skywalker! Oh! Luke Skywalker, look at him!
So, X-Wing, Luke Skywalker. We've all seen this before, okay? Maybe, because Luke isn't doing much right now, he's just meditating mostly and trying to build a temple.
Yeah.
Maybe he either felt some Force-sensitive kids back on his home planet. Maybe he got word of that there's, you know, some strife happening and they hired Mando, because, you know, his big shiny armor. I'm sure people probably talk about that a lot.
It's his home planet. He lived there for the first 16 years of his life.
Maybe he's like, I should take a visit.
Maybe I could, you know, what are Jedis in the galaxy? They're peacekeepers and, you know, solvers of conflict. Maybe he could go to this
Guardians of Knowledge, you know?
Shut it
Maybe
down.
A powerful Jedi will come and sort everything else. Also, okay, we know that basically he sent Grogu there to give to Mando, but how did Luke know where to send Grogu? Because Mando just up and left.
He used the Force. Yeah, exactly. Wait, the Mando's going around the galaxy doing stuff.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
So, it's just because Luke goes, he's on Tatooine right now. To go to this place. What if, like, 10 minutes later, he, like, went 10 seconds and goes, oh, now he's on Coruscant.
How do I send him back to R2?
How do I communicate with R2? We don't have smartphones here. So, you know, dumb.
And then, he has... And then he sends Grogu across the galaxy in a tiny little ship, alone,
With R2.
with basically Siri.
Yeah, NatSav.
And that, yeah.
Yeah, satellite navigator.
He's a glorified, he's a PC tower, basically, He's a vacuum. He looks like a vacuum cleaner, okay? You sent... That's a... Like, if someone had sent my kids back to me, and they had, delivered my kids with a self-driving car...
Well, yeah, I make that assumption later. Yeah, because afterwards, Grogu, the first thing that the chick does is like, we're going to feed you. And R2's like, and then she's all like, let the kid eat. And, we've got to get those views up. Let Grogu eat some bugs.
Yeah.
The ladies love it.
I love how... It's like, oh, how you doing, little guy? You little fella. Lady, you're the same age as this thing. Treat it with some respect. Mutual respect.
You've all been through, the Clone Wars together.
He's
the
50,
Empire.
so are you.
But yeah, I say, what is so important that Luke's doing right now, that he left a young child, a powerful Force user, by the way, by himself in an X-Wing. R2 is great and all, but he's just a droid. Also, it's like putting a kid in an Uber and driving to who knows where.
It's literally... No, if you want to talk about distance...
Yeah.
It's literally like putting a kid in an Uber and driving him to Tau Ceti.
Yeah.
What?
Or going from Canada down to...
It's 4 light years away.
Yeah, the bottom of the Americas.
Dude, not even that. It's literally a galaxy.
I know, but
in
in contrast to...
No. Okay. Because here's the thing. We also live in a galaxy, and we also live on a planet. And other planets are just as far away as they are in this galaxy. Okay? It's not the same as getting in an Uber and driving down to Tijuana.
Okay, true.
I mean, sure, Tatooine has the same,
But what I'm saying is, you wouldn't do that on Earth. In that context. So why do it in space? I mean, Luke, he never had good parents, okay? He probably felt a bit... That's probably damaged him a bit, actually, and not having good... I mean, his aunt and uncle were great, though. They were good people. So I reckon he developed fine, but then I think about maybe that trauma with his dad and everything probably just made him despise fatherhood.
Maybe.
Yeah, but this is... I do all caps, this is not the Luke we were looking for. Yeah.
This is not the Luke you're looking for.
We're looking for someone who would actually... And, how hard is it for Luke just to... I mean, but then it doesn't make sense, because if he comes into conflict, then the Jedi's probably gonna...
But then already got every other bloody character. Why not? What's one more Jedi?
And we had, 2-3 episodes with Luke in it? Why not just have him show up and save the day at the end?
Yeah, and it makes more sense for him to show up there than it did at the end of Mandalorian Season 2.
To give Grogu back.
Yeah, what makes more sense? He'd go to his home planet as a peacekeeping Jedi to stop, a gang war over drugs in destroying this town, or he'd just rock up on a random ship to pick up someone's kid in the middle of space.
Yeah, it is out of Luke's character.
It's out of it doesn't make any sense. The lines don't connect. It's like you're getting an input and an input, and that's homophobic. It's like you're getting two things that don't fit and putting them together. It's like getting two opposite ends of Lego. That's anti-lesbian now. You know what? You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Funny.
It wasn't. You weren't laughing, liar.
That was, and again, we're going from scene to scene to scene where there are clear inconsistencies, plot holes, but not even plot holes, just... I don't know what like that. My vocab isn't strong enough to say how awful this show is.
This show is literally too stupid to insult. Have
Yeah.
you heard that term before?
Yeah. I can't insult you because I feel bad for you, because obviously you've already got,
Yeah, but we can't actually lower ourselves enough to find the words that would accurately describe
what this show is.
What this show is. We can't find them. Let's just go.
Okay.
Let's get through this. When you have to eat don't nibble.
Yeah, true. Okay. And so the kids are... Oh, now it's Mando and Fennec and Boba. And they're like, our forces are quietly patrolling the streets of the old city. You mean
Our forces?
You mean the kids, right? The ones who told you to stay here. And they didn't even... Yeah. Also, the guy, like, they're just standing in the rubbles.
Yeah.
You know, you could get a chair or a Bacta tank.
Yeah.
In the sanctuary, because you love the Bacta tank. But instead, you know, not even grabbing you chairs, I think, is a bit disrespectful. Like, these are the youth, the rising generation, they should respect you and ask you, hey, Boba, Overlord, Crime Lord, the guy we work for, do you want a chair? Because when we film, we all grab chairs.
Yeah.
We're sitting right now.
Yeah.
But in this, they're just standing, waiting. I mean, it would be smart to have, you know...
And also, he's an old fella. He needs to keep his circulation up in his legs. He should probably sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wrote, we have 6 people guarding 4 places. No one on this entire planet is going to be able to sneak up on us.
Sure.
What did they do? They guarded the Aqua Market.
Yeah.
And the town square.
And where the ships were coming.
And the landing zone.
Yeah. And then they cut to the kids, you know, riding around, doing stuff. And my little comment, once again, on their little bumper cars is, did no one working on this show put the bumper cars next to the other Star Wars ships and go, you know, something's off. I think maybe it's the side. No? Something doesn't look right. I'll talk to my senior. Yeah, he'll... Something's off with this scene.
I think we should get our concept artist in here. Do you notice anything wrong with this composition we have? There's a big bloody bright thing in the middle of this arid desert where everything else is worn down and made dusty. You're fired. Get out of here. We need this because we're trying to sell stuff from Hot Topic. Or JJ's, as we have in Australia. No offense if that's where you get your wardrobe from.
No, I got it. I shop at Target.
I got it. Yeah. Target or Connors.
Yeah.
I like Connors.
Cotton on. Decent.
Too expensive, man.
The stuff's quality there.
Dude, I got a $150 gift card to spend there 2 Christmases ago. I was able to buy socks.
Oh. I buy pants there. Comfy. And they did last me quite a while.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, with Cotton On, that's the only brand that makes the pant leg sizes small enough to fit you.
I know, because I'm a skinny guy.
What's that supposed to...
I've got skinny legs.
Or your foot fetishes out there. How'd you get your leg above the table?
I am very flexible.
Okay. So what happened next, Nathan?
Oh, yeah. Okay, then they say, the Pike Syndicate has not yet arrived in numbers, but the minute they do, we'll see them before they see us.
No, you won't. They can come from literally any direction. You have 6 people.
Also, can you hold the viewer's hand anymore? It's like, we're waiting for these people to come, and when they do, we'll know before they do. Just so you know, we're waiting. We're waiting for someone to show up, and we're hiding out. And so when we see them, they won't see us first. Again, it's making stakes of stuff that doesn't make any sense, because guess what? There's going to be so many more of them than there are of you! What's the deal with buses?
Oh, man.
Yeah, tell anyone, like... Yeah, that's right, because that's when Fennec's going on the, like, yeah, we're hiding out. The kids are traveling the streets. We're hiding out. And when the Syndicate come, we'll know first. She's explaining this all to Boba. I think Boba's, like, understands what's going on.
Yeah.
He kind of maybe had made the plan himself.
It's like talking to Joe Biden.
Yeah.
It's how they're like, you know, defense people. Anyway. But yeah, so they say all that, and then the robot comes in. Lord Fett, someone is here to see you. And he's got his snipers on the roof. We'll see them. We've got our people on the ground.
Like the scene before, or the line before that, Fennec is like, all our flanks are covered. No one is sneaking up on us.
Exactly.
But guess what? They still ain't ready for war.
Yeah.
That's like not even a small battalion of people to charge into war with.
I could stand in the middle of the desert and someone could be standing behind me watching the opposite way. We're not ready for the US Army to show up. You know? I mean, maybe if I was in the mountains or something, but...
Yeah, but even then... And then the droid comes in and is like, Lord Fett, there is someone here to see you. And then Boba's just like, I thought you said no one could sneak up on us. Exactly! Our point!
He finally...
And like, how is the show self-aware enough to put in that line, but not self-aware enough to think, Boba's a smart guy. Mando knows what he's doing. We want Fennec to be a cool, strong female character. Why don't we make them look like functional human beings who can coherently plan out
a sentence to say?
a sentence? I'm so mad!
This was written by, and I don't say this lightly, I know Shad does when he directs it at me, I don't say this lightly, this was written by literal retards. Or Kathleen Kennedy, one of the two.
Anyway, Boba goes out, and he tries to talk with Cad Bane and whatever, and then Boba says, I don't negotiate with gutless murderers.
That's been your entire job for the past, 30 years.
Yeah, but then Cad Bane's like, if that's not the Quarter calling the Shiftling slimy. Again, self-aware in the story that, one, people snuck up on them despite them saying no one can sneak up on them, and then Boba's saying, I don't negotiate with gutless murderers, basically, and then Cad Bane being like, have you seen yourself? Do you know who you are? Do you have identity crisis? Like, what's going on here, Boba?
But that's...
You literally incinerate people and kill people where Vader, who I would say is probably one of the most menacing villains in cinematic history, says, hey.
No disintegration.
No disintegration. No being heavy-handed, okay?
Oh, man. And, why did they choose, if that's not the Quoctus calling the stiffest sliming?
Look at the Star Wars
What
thing.
the hell? Yeah, but they could have said something that was, eligible,
that's calling the blaster.
Here it is.
Okay.
That's the Ewok calling the Wookiee fairy or something like that.
That would, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the Don calling the hut stinky. I don't know. That's the.
Although, can you imagine Cad Bane saying, that's the Don calling the hut stinky?
What if it was, what do you call it? Jar Jar Bane. That's a Don calling the Wookiee smelly? Oh, man. Tell you what, if they had Jar Jar Bane, I would watch this show. I would love it.
I want them to bring back that species.
I want him to be.
Okay, I know people are going to scream out on this, and some people will be like, "Yeah!" Others will be like, "No!" Bring back Jar Jar.
Bring back Jar Jar. Make him a Sith Lord. Literally make him a Sith Lord.
Make him competent.
Competent.
I know a lot of this stuff is him being dumb and whatever.
Yeah.
But I want his arc to be that he learns and then becomes this very competent overlord, evil. That's what George wanted to do anyways with Jar Jar. He wanted him to be a beginning, just to be this funny side character, to go into this really powerful Sith Lord, basically.
Yeah. But Disney can't write character arcs so much as they write character dips.
Yeah.
You know?
Or just
character downhills.
True, because the more they grow in the story, the more they make mistakes or try to have redeemable qualities, but then they just slowly plummet down to
the waters below. It's
also,
here's the thing, right? Cad Bane. Bane?
Yeah.
Why does he wear the mask?
One of them says, "Tell your bosses, we know they're outnumbered." But they're not outnumbered.
Yeah.
They have a lot more people than Boba has.
A lot more guns, a lot more money.
My comment was, clearly they don't. everyone knows that there's no point in lying. Probably probably every other family, like the other crime families, outnumber them
Oh yeah.
like 10-1.
Yeah.
Easily. Like, you've seen the amount of Trandoshians that take on the Wookiee later.
Yep.
Way more than... Like, they could have taken on the whole of Boba's squad, basically. Yeah, and then again, Cad Bane says, I've got back shooters too. Again, that just sounds contrived. I've got backup as well, or like,
Yeah,
I've
but
got
you know-
two guns. Or you could say like, oh, your 2 guns is nothing, and then you can have all the people like pop out and do... Like, there's so many other
Yeah,
ways
but do you know why he said we got back shooters?
Why?
Because Mando and the sniper lady went off into
Yeah.
cover him.
Yeah, I know.
Behind cover.
But there's better ways of saying than, I got back shooters too. It could be
Yeah.
like, oh, 2's nothing, and then have all the, you know, different, much more people, you know, he's outnumbering you, Boba, sorry to say this.
Yeah.
Like, there's just cooler ways of saying that.
That's true. But at the same time, sure, you might have back shooters, but you're standing 10 feet from me without armor.
Yeah.
I'm wearing impenetrable armor, and so is one of the other 2 people that are in cover.
Yeah. Also, other one's a droid, basically.
The
So
other
if you
one's-
shoot her, we can just repair her.
Yeah.
And she wears a mask as well.
And she is a legendary sniper. You know?
Cad Bane is also very well known, though.
Yeah, but they're literally wearing impenetrable armor.
True.
Which, I mean, for some reason they never shoot the unarmored parts.
I think later I talk about Ned Kelly and stuff. Because,
Even the police figure that out after one battle. It was nighttime, they're shooting at a bar,
Yeah.
and then some guy comes out of the darkness like a madman. Holy crap, Ned Kelly was cool, by the way. And they're shooting at him, and it's like, it's not working. And then they notice that the legs were unarmed. It's like, shoot the legs.
Yeah.
And they got him.
Yeah. They don't do that in Star Wars. It has to... it's like with the Wookiee. Like the kid who went to shoot the Wookiee shot 3 times at the one deflecting bit. Not the face, not the... Like, nowhere else.
Yep.
In Star Wars, armor is magnets. Cad Bane telling Boba how the Sand People died. Sure, that can be a way to manipulate him and give him kind of loose footing in the whole negotiating stuff. But the guy's already outside with the other 2, so they drew them out. So what's the point of all this?
Yeah.
Cad Bane's like, yeah, I can,
I can draw them out.
I can draw them out. I'll do what I gotta do with those extreme measures. You showed up, and then they all come out,
And you do nothing.
and then you're like, watch this. This'll draw them out. Like,
Yeah, I drew them out. Woohoo! And they went back inside. Oh. Okay, let's do the war then.
like you can just make an appointment. He'll probably come back out again. All right, Bill, I'll come back in 5 minutes. If that's okay. So yeah, again, just dumb. So he tells Boba, and then you can tell Boba's getting all like, oh, what do you mean? And then Fennec's all like, we fight on our terms, not theirs. And for a woman who apparently has been in a lot of conflict, doesn't understand much about conflicts. You don't always get to pick and choose what terms you fight on. Sometimes you're defending yourself.
Yeah.
And so I guess she's trying to say to him, you know, because Cad Bane's trying to bait him into just doing something dumb. She's trying to say, hey, we'll fight on our own terms. But maybe just trust the man who has been very unemotional in his past history and is more experienced than you probably, and probably can, you know, although this is a very strong connection with him, I would trust Boba to make the right decision.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? The reason this has all happened the way it has is because this is my conspiracy theory. I think they're making all of these shows about war and all that, and conflict and combat make no sense because they want people to not know any of this stuff. They want people to think that doing the stupid, retarded thing that they saw on the movie is a good idea.
Yeah.
You know? Like, there's no bloody IRA documentaries going on.
No.
Like, there was a movie called Heat where they showed off all the correct procedures for a lot of things. You know, and now in movies they don't do that anymore because they don't... Like...
Yeah. They want people to be dumb.
Yeah. It's just... If they wanted to make at least competent movie... Like, they had the Pike Syndicate doing the bombings and stuff. The hit and run style tactics. And they're the overwhelming force. No, if you're if the enemy is greater than you, you attack quickly and quietly and get the hell out.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there's Blitzkrieg that the Germans got, but, you know, still, they were one country versus the whole world. But, like, yeah, so, just...
Also, she calls Boba emotional. Which, did you seriously just say that to Boba Fett?
Yeah, that's a bit heavy-handed, don't you think?
Yeah, you're emotional, Boba. Well, that's a bit heavy-handed. Fennec.
Boba, you're emotional. Why would you say that?
Yeah, and then, okay, they go back and whatever, and then the mods, the chick's like, come in, boss, come in. Which is the most unemotive line in the whole show. And we've had a fair share.
Wait, can you explain that one to me again?
So they go back inside, and then the radio gets called. Maybe they're still outside, I can't remember. But the mod chick goes on the radio to talk with them. And she's like, come in, boss, come in. With no emotion or anything. It wasn't like, come in, boss, come in. Or like, hey, boss, you there? It was, come in, boss, come in.
Yeah.
Poor acting.
Yeah. I bet it was a lot more convincing when it was coming from Jennifer Lawrence said to Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, so... And then she's like, something out here doesn't feel right.
Yeah, something feels strange over here. Okay. Instead of talking about feelings, give an explanation like, it's quieter than usual. Nobody's giving us any trouble. Or, like, you know, otherwise you're going to confuse Boba, which his next line is, have the bikes arrived? Because obviously he's confused at what strange feelings mean.
Yeah. But that's not exactly what happened, was it? It wasn't that it was too quiet or that no one was avoiding them. It was more like let's say there's a piece of cover here.
Yeah.
They keep, you know, if I'm like guarding a corner.
Yeah.
And someone keeps like peeking around a corner at me, it's like, you know, like I'm thinking, something might happen here.
I might get ambushed.
There's a man with a gun over there, you know, like...
And there's one over there, and there's one over there, and there's a bunch of guys with pots over there, and those look like guns. Maybe they're going to flank us.
Yeah, aren't those the criminals we tried to sign a peace treaty with?
Yeah. Maybe they'll fight with us.
No.
But they signed a what's it called?
They wouldn't fight with us. We signed a treaty with these criminals.
Yeah. So they get trapped in, right? And then they get flanked. There were 8 mods, I counted. 8 mods, all lined up, basically. Like, they got off their bikes, they turned around, and then people started shooting at them. 8 mods all lined up. 6 shots were fired from the aliens, going... And only 2 impacts were made on the next, like, presenting shot in the scene. But they were totally out of range. There was, like, one up on the cliff and one up, like, on the floor, but... No one was hurt. You know, they didn't have any coverage, nothing. They're all standing there going, oh, these guys all have guns. And then they get shot at and they're like, oh no! So, that was... and then Mando, poor Mando's just like, I thought we had a treaty. Which, okay, makes sense since he didn't see the negotiations happen. He just got told, we have a treaty. And then Boba says, so did I. But previously, he said that he knew that they would serve their best interests, which in this scenario probably result in them siding with and getting paid by the Pikes.
Yeah.
So, despite him before being like, they'll do what's in their best interest, which, you know, the Pikes... And in this case, if Boba's got the money, he can always just pay them off.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, join my team and we'll win the battle because I'll pay you and whatever, and... We've already seen that he's a very easygoing kind of crime lord. They can pretty like go on with their business.
Yeah.
Pike Syndicate probably not going to be as lenient with things, and they're a bit more heavy-handed.
But that's where the fear comes in, because the Pike Syndicate were willing to do stuff like this.
Yeah. And so it's just dumb that Boba's suddenly like, oh wait, they did betray me? I mean, I guess I did expect it before.
But I offered to leave them alone completely, and they had nothing to gain or lose by either betraying...
Me or siding with the Pikes?
Yeah. Oh yeah, then the Trandoshans attack the Chris.
Yeah. Well, it cuts back to the mods, and one mod gets shot, and I'm like, yeah! At least they're not invincible!
8, 1 down, 7 to go. Woohoo! Let's get them all dead by the end!
And then the chick's just like, They laid a trap. I'm like, no, you were just stupid.
And stood in a corner.
Yeah, sitting in an alleyway. Right, okay. Here's the thing when you're in alleyways. If someone else is in the alleyway, you don't want to be in the alleyway if they look at all threatening. Because there's not much room to escape, especially if the alleyway doesn't have an opening on the other end.
Yeah. In reality, we
Yes.
call that a dead end.
Yeah.
Or you, at that time, are cornered.
Yes. In Star Wars, they call it a set.
Well, they call that a Disney... In Star Wars, they call that a great position to expect war to begin.
I don't know. Like, it was hardly a trap. It was more of just poor planning on their part.
Okay.
Okay.
Having an ice cream machine break down at your very busy restaurant, that is bad planning, you know? Not having your bricks level when you're trying to build a shed, that's bad planning. But standing in a corner, right, surrounded by potential places to get shot from, when you're expecting a war to begin that day, that's beyond...
Bad planning.
I can't even think of a word. Like, I could add the F word in front of it. I could say retarded. I could say any combination. I could use every possible swear word, even the ones that would have to be censored on YouTube, you know? And it wouldn't even come close to how horrifically retarded that is. And to think that that's suitable for a movie. Like, for a TV show. I can't think of the words, dude.
I don't neither. We're speechless. We try to point out the problems.
The only thing is, like, from the demented mind of Kathleen Kennedy. Like, who thinks of this? I'm disturbed. I am terrified for our future if this is the crap. Oh, man.
Yeah. But then it cuts to the Trandoshians hunting down good old Chris Osanto.
I'm just calling him Chris, yeah.
Like Chris or Santo. I like that. The Trandoshians are like, no, we want the Wookiee.
Yeah. But here's the stupid thing, right?
Yeah.
This Wookiee got drunk at a bar and beat up like 6 of them with his bare hands, right?
And took one of the arms off.
Right? And then he's standing in the middle of the street with a big old gun. And they still try to attack him with bloody...
Bonkers.
Yeah.
Like little knives?
Even if they're little knives, they like you stab someone with them, it's like a punch.
I mean, the Wookiee's been stabbed before anyways, and it didn't do much.
Yeah. But... Okay, a gun is a force multiplier, like a knife, right? So with a knife, you have to get up to someone and sink it into them.
Yeah.
But with a gun, you can blow them away from however far the gun can shoot and however accurate you are.
Also, I just realised something. That gun's pretty big. And even if you can't shoot them point blank on this, you can just grab that gun and
Right?
melee.
But this guy got into a fight with Trandoshans. He doesn't like them.
Yeah.
Okay? You're waiting for a war to start, and then a Trandoshan looks at you funny and pulls out a knife.
And then all the others pull out knives.
I'm not going to be like, oh.
Why
You know?
leave the Wookiee by himself? You should always go in pairs. Because the whole squad mod team, they had all their group.
About 8 people, yeah.
Yeah. The pigs, they had their... I mean, they didn't last long.
Someone made
favorite-
green eggs and ham out of them.
My favourite meme is that, like, Miss Piggy and Kermit are really worried about their kids. And there's a meme of them cooling up in the background. There's a portrait of the 2 pigs, and they're like, "How are our boys? Are they all right?"
That's good.
Like it's funny. But yeah, look, I think it's smart they at least put Trandoshans on to the Wookiee, but everything else.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, one relatively like, oh wait,
Trandoshans don't like Wookiees.
and they don't. These guys had a fight before, didn't they? Yeah, let's make them like that's just like not even common sense. Okay, even a child who was writing like a Star Wars fan fiction would be like, oh, we're gonna have a Sith fight the Jedi because they don't like each other, right?
Yeah.
That's you're approaching like a level of intelligence that could be categorized as human there. Okay,
Yeah.
like a human being is able to make those connections at literally any age group.
Yeah.
Okay, but for you to be like, oh, and he's got a gun and he doesn't start shooting at them. every other decision in this was written by a dolphin. Okay, every other. It's just so. I can't stand it. I can't cope with it.
And then the Gamorrean pigs didn't have a fair fight at all. They were outnumbered, and basically all the guys did was and the pigs like
dude, fight!
Even don't go towards the cliff edge.
Yeah. Which do you think is more dangerous? Okay, I'm going to give you two possible scenarios. Okay, getting stabbed, right? Falling 200 feet onto stone. Which one's more lethal? Do you reckon?
Probably the falling
200 feet onto stone.
Yeah.
Now, if you had a weapon and you had the potential to fight back, or at the very least, when you're backing away, maybe go to the left or right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Instead of right behind you. Oh, this crater we're about to fall in, you have, like, what? About 30 degrees in that direction?
Yeah.
Or you just got to stop going behind you. That's what you got to do.
You can just jump over them, go under their... They would not expect them to go under their feet or something. You can just do something...
If you go under their feet, they just grab you by the head and slit your throat.
Again,
just push through them.
Yeah, you
got certain death behind you. Fight!
No. They had to fall back. Also, we didn't see their dead bodies. And we know the one rule of Star Wars. If you don't see their dead body, it didn't count.
I can't wait for them to do... Where are they from? What are the pigs called?
Go. I got it. I know people are going to be mad at me because I don't know it off by heart. Gamorrean?
Gamorrean pigs.
Yeah.
So, they're going to do a series called the Great Gamorrean Pigs. Kind of like the Book of Boba Fett. Starts with them climbing out of that... the sea they fell into.
Well, yeah, no, there were comments about that. They were like saying the pigs are dead. Like, well, no, Boba fell into the pit. Palpatine fell into a pit. Like, Han fell into a pit, and he still appeared in the Vision of the next movie.
Yep.
So, there's ever since Disney took over, pits just don't. If you don't see, but even then, if they've been shot or they're wounded, if you don't see basically, if you don't see their funeral, they're not dead.
If you don't see their corpse being burnt.
Yeah, if you don't see burning corpse or like a Padme funeral.
Like, what do you call it? Palpatine thrown into the reactor of a ship. He blew up in the reactor, and then the reactor blew up. the entire space station blew up. Somehow he
survived.
He returned.
No, the survivors though. No one else in the Empire on that ship survived. No. And they talk about that too. In Mando Season 2, they get mad about how on both Death Stars they lost mates on that space station.
Yeah.
They're like, we lost people. Like, you think the rebels are innocent? Like, they killed my friends.
Yeah, millions of people.
But somehow Palpatine returned. But yeah, then my comments do go on to how, like, all the Trandoshians, despite being Wookiee hunters, they're not very good at their job. They just all do stacks on. Yeah. It's not the most practical way to kill a Wookiee. Which we see, because later he does come back.
Probably the easiest way to kill him would just be, like, a bit of lighter fluid match.
Yeah.
They're covered in fur.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Yeah, and then Fennec, they find out where the base is for the pikes and stuff, so Fennec hops on her speeder and speeds away. And I tell you what! Fennec's speeder's way faster! And she would totally get there in time.
Yep.
Unlike,
Well, can you get to Mos Eisley in time? Says the man wearing a jetpack.
True. He could just be like, here, have this.
Or he could have gone himself. Or, there was another guy in the room wearing a jetpack, which those jetpacks can fly as fast as a spaceship.
Yeah.
So...
Like, hey, Mando, got a job for you. True. But we know it's because of certain story beats that they want to commit to, that if either of those two people go, then they don't have that anymore. Anyways, the kids are pinned down, and then they're like, hey, we're pinned down! And then Fennec's like, stay put. And then the kids are like,
we can't stay put!
What?
We're pinned down!
They're like, what do you mean, Mum? It's like saying, like, Mum, I'm stuck. And it's like, all right, don't move. What? No, you should let me be free. Like, they reacted so much. I'm just like, how dare you?
We're pinned down. We can't move from this position because we'll get shot. All right, stay there. I'm coming. No, we need to move or we'll get shot.
Again, contradicting lines that make no sense.
Within a second of each other.
Yeah.
A second.
Yeah.
Literally, that was the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think about, like, how conversations work, right?
Yeah.
This is, you know what? This was written by a woman. I can tell. Because it's like, if a woman, only a woman could be like, I can't pick this thing up. Okay, let me pick this up for you. Don't mansplain to me. You know, like.
So she says she can't move, and then they all get worried that she was told to stay. I just blocked. Yeah, we were talking about that. Like, if you're gonna run out, you're gonna die. And they're just saying, okay, stay put. We're gonna probably... I'm guessing Fennec's gonna come save you.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're like...
How dare you?
You agree with my statement? I thought you were contradicting. How can I rebel if you don't let me rebel?
That's not very cool of you.
Yeah. Also, these kids are terrible shots.
Yeah.
They're dropping like flies. Yeah, that's right. I was like, they're dropping like flies, like in our studio when Oz grabs the spray can. Because you just drop those flies.
Oh yeah, man.
They can't land a hit on these attackers who aren't even using cover. They like peeking out full body from like a corner shooting. You can easily shoot that back. And some of them are just sitting in windows as well, shooting. Like, I played Call of Duty, which is really bad. Like, I feel like such a dumb guy. I'm like, I play Call of Duty, it's easy to shoot people. It's like, okay, I haven't been in an actual shootout, so I don't know what it's actually like. It's probably more threatening than Call of Duty.
You try to make yourself as small as possible.
Yeah.
And have as much protection between you and whatever could shoot at you.
Yeah.
It's a very simple concept to grasp.
But some of these guys are just sitting in, like, the windows going, pew, 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 and all it takes is one person to go, bam, you're dead.
Yeah.
Which Fennec does.
And then, when she shoots the guy out of the window, and there's the convenient water barrels that he lands on, I'm just thinking, how many thousands of dollars of water was just left there? You know, like...
True, it's Tatooine!
Yeah.
You're right.
No wonder the mods were standing there. They're going to steal that.
Yeah, they're like, that's looking like a good water, even though Boba pays us really well because he's rich.
We'll take that to the back to take.
Yeah.
Then the...
Oh, we're not there yet.
Oh.
We're not there yet. Okay. And then so Fennec shows up, shoots 3 guys, and the guys, they don't think, oh, maybe we should cover because people are getting shot. No, they're just like, run! Retreat! There's a sniper! Which, you know, fair enough in some instances, but also, there's enough of you. If you just think it's the kids, just get better cover and still shoot out. Like, I don't know why all of a sudden you lose a few guys and then you're like, oh, we are out of here.
Okay, but traditionally a sniper is a few, like, at least a few dozen feet away. This guy was like, if we're here behind cover, this dude is at that beam over there. Yeah. You know?
Well, I'm talking about Fennec when she starts doing the shots.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But, no, I see your point also. That was not a very good sniping position. But yeah, and then we get to the bit that I think you were cringing at. Which is like, Fennec was like, get to the sanctuary! And then the kid was like, hey! Thank you! And then Fennec saw like...
Manners. I like it.
Okay, for start... Girl, this is a battlefield! You don't have time to be like, hey, thank you.
Oh.
I just want to let you know, I appreciate you.
Manners. I like it. Instead, it should be, hey, thank you. Get to the sanctuary! There's people coming to kill us!
There's reinforcements school right now! You
Run!
We are at war!
Do a Tom Cruise impression! Run! Instead, I'd be like, oh, many of my friends are dead.
You don't say, Oh no, Jerry with the prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Anyway.
Anyway, thank you. No, okay, as well, she's like, manners, I like it. But she has been the heavy-handed one in this whole show. And yet somehow she likes manners now? Before she was like, oh, we don't have time for any of this crap, Boba. You gotta start sticking into them or whatever. But now that the other chick's like, oh, thank you. She's like, oh, I appreciate your politeness.
And you know why they did it.
Yeah.
Because, and this isn't a bloody conspiracy, and I told Nathan this the other day, it's like, in movies, they'll do product placement because they want you to buy that product. Buying that product is a type of behaviour. They're trying to impress a type of behaviour onto you. It's why they, for the most part, removed smoking from movies unless they want to make a certain point.
Yeah.
It's why they removed, the gunfights that were accurate and the tail tactics and surveillance tactics that police
because
use.
then people will actually...
Yeah, because people will pick up on that piece of behaviour, And so when they put in stuff like this, a young person saying thank you to an old person and the old person saying, I like your manners. They're trying to push something across, and it's clear, it's blatant, and it's
out of character.
It's out of character.
Out of environment. It does not belong in that scene.
But why do they take so long just for that? It's just there's so many layers of awful for it.
Yeah,
so many. And every time I think about it, it literally deflates me.
Yeah.
I feel my life essence being pulled out of my body like a fucking Dementor.
And Kathleen Kennedy's like, yes, another year as being exec and president of Lucasfilm.
Oh man, literally I can't do this again. I can't watch this again. I can't.
Shall we move on?
And then the Star Wars shirt's coming.
Yeah.
I want to go to my happy place.
So, the Pike Syndicate show up. Look, when it comes to dress setting, I like their look up, because it looks kind of like the half... Oh, you look so distraught.
I'm distraught, man. I want to know what's going on with the world.
Yeah, I know.
I know it's all going to hell, but I didn't expect this.
This is not expected.
This is getting out of hand.
This is getting out of hand. But yeah, I like the design of the Pike Syndicate. It looks kind of like a Half-Life Combines with like a middle black line down the middle of the chest, and they kind of have that humanoid feature, but also alien. I like it. I think it's a cool design. The person who did this probably should have worked on a lot of the other crappy stuff that we see in this show.
Mods. Wait, what was that?
Mods.
Okay, you don't need to mask it, Nathan. We know this show is garbage.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about? Mods?
Yeah, mods.
Oh, yeah.
The mods and the bikes and everything else. Like,
yeah.
The Pike Syndicate look, they fit the world. The alien looks like cool. It gives me Half-Life vibes, which that's a check in my box of things to make me happy.
Well, to be fair, present day life reminds you of Half-Life.
Yeah, that's why I'm so happy and chirpy. I'm like, oh, hello, Gordon.
Now we're just missing all the cool tech.
Yeah.
It's actually just the bad guys that have it.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Anyway, and then we go back to Boba and Mando. So it looks like Boba is realizing his odds are slim, that all of his decisions have led him to this point. And look, it needs to be called out, but I feel like at this point, the conversation between Boba and Mando, with the creed and keeping his word, with the fight and them falling and stuff.
It's just.
Well, like there's a moment where Boba becomes Boba, where he's like, "Oh, you still believe in that burnt fodder?" And then Mando's all like, "Yeah, I do." And like there's a little moment there where I was like, "Hey, that's because he had his helmet on and he was having, he was being a rude jerk," which is what Boba kind of was when he was an actual bounty hunter. But then they end up having this soft conversation of like, oh, thanks for staying around. I really appreciate it. Like, you're such a good friend. Where a moment before he was dissing his religion.
Yeah.
Again, it's a split personality, and
no. What words?
I don't have any words. Like, you've already heard it. You've already heard it from me.
What words are left?
Yeah. Okay. And here's where it gets all capsy, people. It gets all capsy. Boba says, "I can't abandon Mos Espa. These people are counting on me." And let me just read out my strong paragraph. I'm gonna lose my voice today, I bet you.
Yeah.
Who is counting on you? The city folk don't respect you nor fear you, or, left you alone for all this to happen to you? Or your squad, who you yourself said probably didn't make it? Because before, I'm guessing they didn't make it because they got... they didn't make it. Who is still counting on you? You probably didn't even... for now, it's just him and Mando. Get to your ship, fly away, use a... to do stuff that you would want. There is nothing keeping you there. And there never was. There isn't... why is he on Tatooine? There are so many other planets in the galaxy that you could go to and do things on. Nothing here is holding you, Boba Fett, as a character to Tatooine. Other than you did a job for Jabba the Hutt and you got eaten by a sark pit, okay? Cool, that happened. That was in the history. You've been in so many more places and so many more things. There's nothing in your core that makes you want to stay in Tatooine and fight for these people who you have no connection with.
Yeah.
Sand people, maybe, but they're dead and you've lived a long enough life, you can just go on to the planet, go somewhere nice, retire, do something.
Yeah, you need to retire.
The fact that you are saying, I need to protect these people, is the most retarded thing. Because you don't need to. No one respects you. There's no reason you're here. There is no stakes. There's no story. It's just all contrived bullcrap to make a solo show to fill in our consumer market until Obi-Wan and Mando Season 3 comes out. That is all this is.
That was a bit heavy-handed, don't you think? No, dude, that was based. I want more like that.
That is all that this show has been. At that point, I was like, okay, I'm fed up with this.
I'm ashamed that I didn't write that. That was well, man. But yeah, it's all just vapid, nonsensical crap.
In this scene, okay, Mando has more emotional stakes, I guess, for me as a viewer, because look, he's got honor because he's given up Grogu to Luke. He's given up the thing that he's loved. He's been excommunicated from his religion, but you know what? Despite that, he's still holding to his beliefs because he's been raised that way.
Yep.
Okay? I care more emotionally about Mando as a viewer than anything that Boba has done in the show.
Yeah, me too. I don't want harm to come to Mando or Grogu.
Yeah.
I actively want every other character in Boba Fett to die. Every single other character. Good guys and bad guys.
This show was failing so much that they had to bring in Mando and Grogu to have any form of emotional integrity for the show.
That's what I'm saying. If they're going to bring in every other character, why not bring in Luke Skywalker to solve the problem?
Yeah. So anything grasping for a decent story, you had to bring in Mando and Grogu, because otherwise there was nothing here. Nothing was here. We're past halfway, everyone. For my notes, at least. Anyway, and then the assistant mayor dude is like, I was educated on Coruscant. That doesn't make me better in any way.
Yeah. No, can I translate the scene for you? I was raised in a urban environment from the city, not to make myself better than you in any way. And then I went to a university. Sure, no, I'm not a member of high society. I didn't come from an economically wealthy background.
My parents had to work.
My parents, it was. I'm actually from a minority background.
Yeah.
And so now that you have that, let me continue to wait. Let me just get to the actual point, okay?
Yeah.
Shut the up! If I was either Boba or Mandalorian in that scene, I would have shut the right there. Shut the up!
Okay, here's my question: was that them? Okay, no, they weren't making fun of it. They were just self-inserting it to be funny. They're like, we're self-aware.
Wasn't funny.
It wasn't.
It just. Really pisses me off just thinking about it.
Okay, don't tell me that anymore. Just...
Oh man, that hurts putting that away, that anger.
Yeah.
Why do they do this to us? Why?
Oh, okay, and also this guy, he realizes he's on Tatooine, right? It's like he was in the upper class doing whatever. What? did he get cancelled? Like, why is he on Tatooine?
Yeah,
of all places.
He probably committed some seriously heinous crime on Coruscant,
Yeah.
and then had to flee to get out of systems.
Like,
It's
the
like,
fact that you're here, mate, just proves the point that you probably weren't good enough to even be
yeah,
there.
it's like you do a bank robbery and commit a few rapes, you have to bust down to Tijuana so you get indicted. Oh man.
Also, he graduated with civil civic negotiations.
Civil civic negotiation.
And I'm like, is that like the social or gender studies of today?
Based off how he said a paragraph just to get to, like, I'll negotiate for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you've seen the lefty meme. It's like an entire paragraph.
Yeah. Also, I doubt that career path would have had much need in the Empire. Because I doubt there was much negotiation. It was usually the Empire coming in saying, we need this thing. And everyone's like, no. And then they're like, boo-boo, boo-boo. And they're like, oh, okay. So I doubt that he was really needed for most of his life.
Yeah, okay, so that's the thought. That's how the Empire dealt with things, right?
Yeah.
How do they deal with things on Tatooine? Hey, give me your money. No. Pew pew!
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And this guy's just says like, I humbly bow
Salutations!
before you. I'm not annoying as at all.
But like, that's the thing. I look at this and I'm like, that doesn't make sense because this guy is growing up in the Empire. I doubt he would be like, yes, you know, I should be in negotiations officer because we really need those in these dark times of the Empire. It doesn't make sense in the world building, I don't think. It would make sense now if he was a recent graduate or whatever because he's gone to university and now the Republic's being all la-di-da.
The fact that this man has survived in that town where people don't have... Like, this is a desert town.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if you went to, like, the middle of the desert in Mexico or, like, Africa and were like, there's a tribesman just staring at you, like... And you're just like, hello! Let me introduce myself to you.
Yeah.
He'd probably just, like, throw a spear at me and, like, drink wine from my bloody skull when he was finished. Like, okay, let me explain something to you, right?
Mm.
When I went into church, I'm generally like, oh, hey, how you going, everyone? Nice to meet you all, yeah? But then if I'm back in Perth and walking through, I don't know, the middle of Midland, I'll be like, oh, how you going, mate? Yeah. Oh, yeah, right, mate. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
You fit in with the culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't get stabbed.
Yeah.
Okay? Now you're walking through Tijuana as a white guy and you're like, hey, drug dealers, you're gonna get kidnapped and put in a bloody oil barrel, okay? Like this... I can't stand it, Nathan! Help me! I can't stand it!
Okay. I can help you. We'll move to the next point to get angry.
Yeah, next one, thank you.
I do like the fact though that Boba is like, alright, I'll make terms. And then he's like, no money I'm giving you. I'm going to... There was a really good line, I will admit, it was pretty badass.
What was it?
When,
Give me something.
Yeah, when Boba was like, saying that the fields of Tatooine will blossom with flowers from the bodies of your dead.
I mean,
Like,
it's not horrific.
no.
It's a bit...
But when this... I like the fact that this guy's like, salutations, everyone, I'm going to do it. And nice little... look, he's going to kill you all, and he's not going to give you any money.
Yeah,
And...
but it wasn't just that, right? This is, again, shows you the kind of writer, because the writing informs the person that wrote it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to offer you a paragraph. Instead, if it was Boba Fett, it'd be like, leave and I won't kill you. And it's that simple.
Yeah,
Instead
yeah.
of,
Also-
if you don't leave, I'll let the flowers blow from your bodies on the dead like they used to.
Yeah. Also, if I was a negotiator, I would probably read what I'm going to negotiate before going out to negotiate.
Or,
I'd go, Boba, you didn't... It's probably like, he looks at the some money. Boba, you didn't put any money here. What are you doing?
Yeah, or just be like, okay, he's a guy that's terrified of any possible threat of violence.
Yeah.
And he's going out there in harm's way to potentially get shot because the people he's talking to have guns and want to kill them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a really long-worded threat here with the promise of no money and that will kill you if you don't do what we want. Set a starting price. And we'll go from there, and I can take that back to him, and we'll work this out. Instead of being like, he's gonna kill you. It's like, if the messenger comes to you and is like, nothing, then bam!
Yeah.
But just make something up so you can get an excuse to go back inside.
Well, he does say, he's like, do you have a study? No? Okay, I'm just gonna read this one and I'll get screwed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
10,000 credits, which is probably small.
Yeah, I don't think he actually graduated. I reckon he dropped out. Because he's not very good at his job.
I don't know where this creature came from, and I'm not even going to presume to guess, okay? I'm so disappointed we didn't at least get the satisfaction of seeing this guy get killed. That if they at least
killed him off.
If they at least killed this guy, I would have been cheering in my chair. Like, that's all I wanted to see. If at that moment when he said nothing and
and Cat Bane's just like BAM!
No, not even that. The guy's just like the guy who was standing in front of him just shot him.
Yeah.
If that happened, I would have been cheering because at least then there's some reasonable consequence for things that happen. Every other thing happens without consequence or reason.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense in the world that we live in, but in story there's meant to be reason behind things. There's meant to be mechanics and things that interact, it's like...
But then they come out with their jetpacks, shooting. And I'm just like, okay. What they do is they come out at the front and they're like, doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. And then they eventually land in front of the sanctuary and go, doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. But if you have the high ground, you use your jetpacks. Also, there's people on roofs. Maybe go to the roofs and take them out and then be like, haha, I have the roof now. Boom, boom. Like, instead, they don't flank, they don't move around, they just stay in the same spot. And they go down the ground and then they get overrun basically with bullets. Because just because they're armored doesn't mean that people can't shoot them.
You're incorrect about that because they don't actually take a hit in any other place but the armor.
Yeah, true.
Obviously, the knee rockets happen as well.
Oh, that was the reason why they had to go around, so Mando could shoot his knee rocket, just be like, look how cool I am.
That dude's 60 years old. There's no way that he could aim with his knee. He needs his knees replaced.
Or that's how they're proving to you he's still young. He can still bend his knee.
Do you remember the first time he showed up Mandalorian? He was this big... It's like me wearing a thing. Oh, man. And everyone's like, oh, look at him. He's like, ooh. It's like Jar Jar. Not Jar Jar. Jabba the Hutt wearing this suit, It was
he
funny.
slimmed down for this show, but unfortunately he didn't... it wasn't worth it, because he didn't get to do anything cool anyways. This is when I talk about the Australian legend. So, also, right, there's this Australian legend that had similar armour back in the late 1800s.
Yeah. With
helmet and chest piece. And people tried shooting him. And they were like, wow, this is...
The
really
bullets are bouncing off this armour he's wearing.
And it was... Actually, if you haven't seen the Kelly movie... With
Heath Ledger. Dude, I watched that the other...
Watch it, please.
Dude.
That is bloody... And that's where we're living right now. It happened in the state of Victoria.
I was watching that when the Melbourne protests were going on, when they were really heavy, and that movie brought me to tears.
Yeah.
Because... Watch Ned Kelly with Heath Ledger.
And then, but the cool thing with... Okay, we need an episode on Ned Kelly, I think. We need just a good... Because that is a legend right there. But the thing with Ned Kelly is that they're like, hey, his hands are naked. And he doesn't have anything past his, loins. We can shoot his feet. And so they went, bam, bam. And then Ned's just like, oh, I have fallen. I can't get up.
Yeah.
You can do that with Mando and Boba as well. If anything, their armor's even less effective because they've only got smaller pieces. And they've even got gaps between their helmet and chest piece.
And the entirety of that area.
Yeah, all of the side here. I think this
Gambison starts there and it's that area.
This Gambison has better armor than Boba and Mando do. So, again, just things where I'm like, I think of history and armor and shooting and
Yeah.
why have these guys not fallen yet?
Even back in the day, like when we were fighting with swords and stuff, armor covered every inch of your body except even the soles of your feet.
For some reason, for their armor though, the cloth is just as protective as the Beskar.
It's protective because the lasers avoid the cloth and just hit the Beskar.
So
it makes sense if they said, yes, the Beskar actually attracts laser bolts. You know? That would have made sense. Like, if a laser bolt gets within, a foot of you, it'll be naturally attracted to the Beskar.
Like even seeing them, when they miss shots, just seeing a bullet like start to curve and then hit the chest piece.
But no, it's just, they just...
No. Also, they both shot a guy from top of a building. I did watch back. He was shooting back. But also, if you shoot a guy 3 or 4 times, I think it's... Because it's overkill, right?
Yeah.
Because he shoots them, and then they shoot him back. 2 shots on the shoulders. Oh, that was a whistle. And then he starts...
Hey, Chris! Can you do that? Hey there, Chris!
I can't do the whistle like on command. I can't do it right now. I can't do it.
Hey there, Chris! I can't do it either. Chris! Chris! Chris!
Anyways, so they shoot this guy, and then he starts to fall... And then they keep continuing to shoot him.
While he shoots back. Do you know why they kept shooting him?
Why?
Because if they didn't keep shooting him, he might have accidentally shot them.
But everyone else...
Who's already shot them multiple times.
Is already, there's one guy falls down on their...
On the right.
On the right. And they start shooting him. On the left, there's an entire army, rooftop, people everywhere, and they're still shooting at them as well. So instead of both going... They should probably go, bam, bam, okay, he's falling down. Oh, I can dodge a few of those. Go back to the main...
They shot him off the roof of a building?
Yeah.
Safe to say he's not going to really get up from that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. And then Freetown arrives!
Oh!
Yeah!
Howdy, partner.
And then I go all caps again, and I'm like, wait! That was the army that was going to save them. Like, Boba's like, if they don't show up, we're screwed. They show up, and I'm still like, you're screwed. I counted 10 people. 2 more than the mods had. But the mods have lost like 2 people anyway, so there's 6 mods and 10 of the Freetown people, so it's 16 plus, 2 Mandalorians. Fennec, but she's gone off to do her own thing, and the Wookiee... He's MIA. So Freetown shows up, and they're like, what? You didn't have to show up because your sheriff died, yada yada yada.
Well, there's no way he's dead.
And then, the bartender guy's like, the planet deserves better.
Does it?
And I came up with lines that I thought would be better than saying that the planet deserves better. There's, it would only be a matter of time before they came to us. They shot our marshal, so it's only fair we could get to shoot them. Our city and town folk have to stick together.
It'll find its way to us eventually.
Yep. Marshall would have wanted us to, or we're doing it for him.
Mm.
Way more, emotional depth of the Marshal and how you are with city folk than saying, the planet, it deserves better. This scummy planet that hasn't done anything good for anyone.
Man, this might be conspiracy mode for me.
Yep.
The planet deserves better.
Is that more advertising?
More lefty greeny stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, climate change. I don't know. Yeah, this planet which is known throughout the galaxy as being a cesspit for criminals and lowlifes and murderers.
Yep. It deserves better. And then there's a scene with the mods, which I just wrote here. It's unbearable to watch. I cringed through it all, and Oz can testify to that.
You're pausing every 5 minutes.
It was unbearable.
Yeah. What actually did they do this time again?
I can't remember, and I don't want to remember. It's
Oh, yeah. I remember what it was.
Oh, yeah, it was they're driving through, and then the guy tumbles over, and then the chick stops, stands up, shoots some people, and it's just the most... Talk about consequence to your actions. They did some very dumb things in combat, and didn't result in any casualties.
In fact, they won against almost impossible odds, whilst at the same time behaving in the most retarded way possible. I guess that's kind of the United States Army tactic, right?
I mean, it's more of the story, really. Being dumb is the new smart. Being smart's the new dumb. It's not cool to be logical.
That's happened in Idiocracy. Have you seen Idiocracy?
Yeah, it's cool to just feel how you want to feel and just go with it.
Because their feelings trump facts.
No. I mean, that's what they say, but it's not true.
I just quoted Ben Shapiro like for a second I felt like it was 2014 all over again.
Yeah. And, okay, so as we can expect, the mods make it, the Wookiee makes it, but the pigs don't. I mean, the show doesn't make sense anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised if they show up later in a back to tank or something, like everyone else.
The Wookiee shows up, and what does Boba say to him? I owe you a long soak in the back to tank! I'll tell you the same thing that I told the people in Discord when they bring up, like, World War II tanks.
Yeah.
Shut up about the f***ing tank! I don't care! We know it's there! You spent the first 5 episodes lying in it! Leave us alone!
And then giant robots come.
No.
Doesn't.
They win. They defeat all of the...
Oh, that's right. They're like,
troops.
yeah! Woo! All 20 of us defeated the syndicates.
Yeah!
For our planet!
For the planet!
For Marshall!
Yeah!
For mod rights!
Wait a minute. Why do I hear Terminator 2 music?
And Mando's like, it's not over yet.
And they see this massive droid coming at them, and they don't think to say, hey village people, hey young children who are in this war, how about you all skedaddle? Because there's a massive robot with huge guns coming directly for us.
And it's shielded.
And at no point do they think to get the out of there. They just stay there and hide behind the same vehicle that already got half destroyed by shots from infantry. Like,
and spread out! Spread out!
Just see Jerry Seinfeld.
What's the deal with hiding behind the same cover?
Can you say,
spread out?
Can you say, but I don't want to be a pirate.
But I don't want to be a pirate.
Oh man.
You know, I said, when robots come your way, that's a good time to retreat. Also, why are they even there for? There's nothing there to defend. You have no resources, and you're just trapping yourself by not moving away to a different area.
Yeah.
And you're in town. It's getting destroyed. Go to your palace. They'll chase you. Also, when they do eventually retreat and they're all running away, looking like scared children, the crowd's running away, right? But the droid, it shoots the rooftops. It's like, doo-doo, and then just up above where no people are, it's shooting.
It's shooting in every direction except theirs.
Yeah, and it had a clear shot before when they were shooting the ship.
It
was like shooting stuff, but then when they're running away, they're like, oh no, I have forgotten to aim. Also, the Wookiee ends up like waiting back and then doing its thing, and then once he, gets shot back, there were 2 mods who were like, oh Chris, we saw everything that happened, we're waiting for you, we didn't think to help or contribute to your needs, we just stood there and watched you. Are you okay? We'll help you up.
Help him up, yeah. Oh, there's a thing.
Everyone, shoot! All right, I hope
it's like, bang, 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 bang.
Also, he does the twirl. The iMod guy does the bloody twirl with his little sissy pistol gun. Just shoot the blaster. You Mace Windu wannabe.
No, it's more like a Nick Fury wannabe.
Yeah. Yeah, true with the eye.
Yeah. Not because he's black. Yeah.
And then, Oz,
then?
we're not done yet, everyone.
And
oh,
then?
it gets even worse.
And
Then
then...
a mechanic shows up with Grogu, and Mando's like...
We laughed about this so hard. Like, the girl drives into an active war zone, and Mandalorian is like, turn around! And she's like, what? I can't hear you over the sound of the war that I've driven into.
Turn around!
That is the war zone! Go the other... Like, imagine this. You're in a highway in, I don't know, Syria. And you're driving, and as you're driving into a town, you hear the gunshots and explosions get louder.
And they're getting louder the more you drive to that location.
Yeah, and you're like, don't worry, kid, I'm sure your dad will be in here. And you drive into the war zone.
And the soldier's shooting these guys.
Yeah, and he comes around the corner and he's like, and you're like, what? What do you think he means?
I laugh because it's so comedic, but deep down I'm crying.
I'm crying.
Like, I am laughing because of how stupid this is. So stupid.
But, okay, here's the thing, right? You brought a child into an active war zone.
Yeah.
And you're surprised that you find war?
Yeah.
It's like...
No. My comment here, she was like, turn around? What? Like, turn around? It's like, I can't hear you over the sound of blasters and a war zone. No.
Oh.
Just have a moment of silence just for the
For the brain cells that died watching this.
Okay, on to the next really dumb comment. Because then we cut to the next scene, where the mod chick's like, we have to stop retreating. We need to dig in here. Sure, let's stop retreating from the giant droid that no one can kill. I'm sure that'd be a great idea. No, we're gonna be brave and not retreat. The reason you retreat is so you can fight another day and perhaps flank. But the fact is, the droid's stronger than you. You can't stop moving because you can't stop the droid. That's why you're retreating.
Part of fighting in a war is assessing your enemy, realizing its strengths and weaknesses, as well as your own strengths and weaknesses, and what will work and what won't work when fighting that enemy. You know, so what do we know about the droid? It's slow, and it's big, and it has impenetrable shields, and it can keep shooting.
Yeah.
So instead of running away, getting into running through the alleyways and stuff like that, they're going to run down the center of the street, the wide open street, and then they're going to dig in behind some sandstone walls. And keep shooting at the thing that can't be shot.
So one of the ladies are like, we should keep retreating. We have to keep retreating because
No, we'll get cornered.
She was like, and I quote, I grew up a one hop away from here. If we fall back any further, we'll be cornered with no cover. And then her friends, or the other warrior Freetown person's like, so we're just gonna die here? And then she's like, no, we fight. Yeah, you die fighting!
Yeah.
That doesn't exclude the fact that you're going to die. It's like, no, we fight. Yeah, and then you die.
What have you been doing for the past 20 minutes?
Fighting! She doesn't know that though. She isn't really new to this whole combat situation, so she's a bit confused about how war works.
You know what? So are the writers of this show.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're like, no, we can't retreat. We have to dig in here. If we retreat, we'll get cornered. What? Like you are now? Like you can't really move from this position?
And then they're like, oh, I'm gonna snipe them from up there. So they switch weapons. Okay, the bartender guy gives her the rifle, and I get that they want to have that moment of, the two girls being strong in the war. So no, give the alien, okay? Give him the spotlight too. He's a minority. He needs his time to shine. And it's his gun, okay? If we were in a war battle, right? And if I had, my weapon of choice, and then Shad had this big weapon of choice, and I was like, I'm gonna go flank them, and Shad's like, no, here, take this. I'd be like, actually, no, you can do it, because that's your weapon, and you'll probably know how to use that thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, right?
Also, you're Shad, you should, it's your time for the spotlight.
Yeah, the guns seem to be able to hit like in terms of the distance that they were shooting at them from.
Oh
When they
yeah,
went on the roof,
guns are all the same in style. They're a bit different. Some of them
they hit you
harder,
harder,
faster.
right?
But the bullets that penetrate, they're all the same.
Yeah, but if you're going to use a sniper, you'd expect them to be a distance away. But they were literally
Like if there's a bunk bed, they're looking down
from the bunk bed,
like the bedroom floor.
They were an extra meter above where they were before.
Yeah.
2 meters above where they were before. It's just like,
It makes.
hey, the droid that has that shield in a 360-degree sphere all around its body, we're going to try and shoot it from another angle. Oh, man.
And then also, so they're running away, Grogu, or the mechanic lady, and Mando. And then while they're running away, she's like, oh, by the way, Grogu's here. And then Mando's just like, what? Like, lady, if you got Grogu, maybe you should mention it to Mando the moment you would be like, what? Huh? I got Grogu! And then he could have been like, huh? Instead of then running away and being like, oh, guess what, Mando? I've got someone here to see you. And then he'd be like, ah!
Dude, if I was Mando, I'd be like, you brought my child into a war zone? What the is wrong with you? I know I shouldn't be swearing, but I can't help it. This show just...
And then Boba shows up
What happens
with
there?
his pet.
Oh, yes.
Now, I think the reason why they were retreating for so long is because Boba had to walk it into town. But, if Boba took all the time to go to his palace and think, what's the quickest way I can go and deal with some of these droid things? Maybe don't go downstairs to your little pet guy.
To then walk it back.
Again, have to go maybe grab your ship.
Yeah.
That has the or the
Yep.
and it's a lot faster. And you know what? Even if you just distract the people enough that everyone else can escape, that's fair enough. But you're wasting so much time. And it's like you got two tools. You've got okay, there's a nail you need to hit in. You've got a hammer, and you've got a screwdriver.
No. It's not even that, man.
No?
It's not even that. You've got a hammer, and you have a goanna.
True.
Oh, its tail fell off. Don't worry, grow back. Make the nail go in!
So yeah, we think that that's really dumb.
Yeah.
Just use the ship.
Yeah.
With your explosives. Just...
He had missile launcher.
He had missile launches, he had so many
Probably would
things.
have done less damage than the bloody Rancor did.
and Boba was afraid that there wouldn't be any steel left. Well,
I want to destroy it.
you can bet at this rate there won't be anything left at all, because the thing just jumps on and goes, and then the whole building crumbles and falls, and and then basically, so I start going from scene to scene and just sit back in just disbelief with what's happening. And there's a part where Grogu uses the Force to take a bolt out of one of the droids.
And it's of no consequence.
And then it's just like, oh, I can't walk as much anymore. And then Mando basically just walks away and goes out to Grogu and goes, oh, good job, buddy. And then Boba comes in the background and it's like, it's like, Mando, okay, one, you didn't know Boba was going to come in the background. Two, that thing's still armed. Deal with that first before you go, good job, buddy, you can still use the Force.
In the time you're like, good job, buddy, you could have... Here's some potential options, okay? Yeah. One, gotten your child out of the path of a killer robot. Run up to said killer robot with your sword that can cut through anything. And then dismember it. But you went with option C and you're like, good job, buddy. It can walk slightly worse now. It was slow before, now it has a limp.
Yeah, and then so the mod chick and her new friend, the sniper lady, they're like, we'll distract the droid. Pew pew, pew pew. But I thought their original intention was to destroy it. They're like, we're gonna fight. I'll get on the roof and we'll be the best team ever and we'll sniper them all. But now they're like, okay, we'll distract it. Like, with my sniper rifle, I'll shoot the shield, and then by distracting that, you can worry about shooting all the people around them.
Yeah.
And that's good teamwork.
But before that, they were like, oh, can you hit it? And they're like, I grew up in the desert, I can hit anything.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not hard to hit something that's like 15 feet tall, that's, 10 meters at the most away from you. It can't be that hard. I've done some shooting. I could probably hit that with a bow.
And then Boba shows up and does something productive and just destroys the robot while everyone else watches. Everyone's just like...
Yeah, good job, Boba.
Or Boba's just... Even the sniper agents, they're not like, let's try and shoot people around. And everyone's just like...
And Boba came bounding over.
I know the move. And then Cad Bane shows up.
Finally does something. As ineffective.
But Boba falls off, and then it just goes off.
No, that's not exactly what happened, right? Cad Bane shows up, and so this Rancor had been shot maybe 100 times by blaster fire, completely unaffected, right? Even if I'm a big guy, right? If a bee stings me, I'm like, damn it, Like, I try to avoid bees because I don't like getting stung, right? This thing took several hundred blaster shots and a little bit of fire, It
was like,
and then ran off.
Because isn't laser just really hot, intense energy?
Yeah.
And fire is just a lower version of that?
Yeah. In fact, if he's almost immune to blaster fire,
fire shouldn't do anything.
Fire's probably like way less hot.
Yeah.
Than that.
If blaster fire is like boiling temperature water.
No,
but like comparing it to like what water is, then fire would be like lukewarm, maybe like a hot chocolate.
Not even temperature. That, man. No, like blaster fire can melt steel.
Yeah.
Blaster fire can melt steel. Not even jet fuel. Okay? Like this is literally a not even, when I say flamethrower, it's not even shooting like a real military flamethrower. It shoots a sticky substance that is on fire.
Yeah.
Right? This isn't that.
No,
it's literally one of the SpaceX flamethrowers that just uses gas.
Yeah, yeah.
This thing could have literally held its face into that fire and been fine. Compared to something that melts steel. He could have just grabbed him and treated him like the gecko.
Yes. Yum yum snack.
Yep. Blueberry.
But then Boba just let it off, and he's just like, sure, it'll take care of my city. I protect my city. Right? Right?
Well...
Right?
You've seen the movie King Kong. And then Cad Bane.
It's just like... I've known you for a long time, Boba. But what I don't understand is... What's your angle?
I would like to know that too.
Yeah, I'd say, Cad Bane, you are correct. We're all thinking the exact same thing. What is Boba's angle? And it's like they call it out, but they don't give it an answer. It's like in Star Wars, and they're like, Palpatine, he returned. It's like, Boba, you've got an angle.
Would you like to know why they didn't answer?
Because they don't have one.
Because they don't have one.
They don't have one. They called it out.
They said earlier in the series, like, how many lives could have been spared if only they took a second to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, if only they actually kept that idea when they made any single decision in the rest of this show.
Because if anything, this whole episode just shows that Boba was... I would rather have Vader or Jabba or anyone else who he called out.
Throughout the entire series.
Yeah.
They didn't make any smart choices.
No. They didn't even stick with their points. They kept changing to what their idea was. Each episode was like, oh, now it's about family and what he had with the Sand People. Now it's about, now it's trying to be a nice guy. Now, he's being too nice, he's got to show some heavy-handed. Oh, but you can't be too heavy-handed. Like,
yeah. But now it's about the Mandalorian.
Woo, 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 woo.
Every time they showed him on screen, it did that noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. But do you want to know why it's so inconsistent?
Why?
Because it was written by progressives. They have no value principles at all. The only values that they hold are equality.
Mm.
And even then...
they get lost in it. So, yeah, and look, Boba's on the ground. He has knee rockets, a pistol before he whipped out and shot.
And he's got a rifle in his hand.
Yeah, well, that one gets knocked out. But it's happened before in this episode, we're watching it. So he has a rifle, it gets knocked out.
And then he goes and grabs it, though, doesn't he?
He goes to grab it. But the man, before, that last time that happened, he just grabbed a pistol and started shooting instead. He can do that as well. But
no, but I specifically remember he had the rifle by his side in his hand when they went to do quick draw. Yeah.
So he could have just grabbed...
He could have just raised up and shot the unarmored guy.
Yeah.
Not even giving him the chance to say anything. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Just because he's not on your side, he's a villain.
He's going to try and kill you.
And you know he doesn't know your angle, but you know his.
Yeah.
And then... How do you feel about Cad Bane dying?
Honestly, I don't give a shit.
Like, I'm sad because he felt like the only, like, character that had some depth. And...
Yeah, he felt like he was like... How he sounded and how he looked when he talked was menacing.
Yeah.
But this show has no consequences, so I...
Yeah, so I guess his character was hollow. And look, I get what they were trying to do with the whole Cad Bane saying, oh, like, you know, the one thing I should have taught you, Boba, and I'm going to teach you this right now, is, like, you should always look out for yourself, and you know, anything else is weakness. And then Boba's like, no, but my people were the sand people, and because they helped me and my tribe, I'm going to be able to quickly knock you off your feet and stab you with the one weapon.
Yeah, what does he say? Does he say, like, thanks for the lesson or something like that?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure they stole that from Die Hard.
Yeah. But, I mean, this whole episode has forgotten that entire arc for the past 3 episodes. So far, for any of this to be satisfying, you need to have had a build-up of Boba and how he's changed and developed as a person since being the Sand People, and having those experiences in the end and making him a better person and, you know, more prepared as a person. You know, when Cad Bane's like, you should be by yourself, it's like, actually, no, because I've got my tribe with me, I'm going to be... Because of what I've learned and grown, the thing you're telling me is not true.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any of that development throughout the entire episode up until this vital moment at the end, which doesn't get any payoff because there was no build-up to begin with. And then the townspeople are just like, Rancor on the loose! It's like, Boba's doing a great job with his victory, isn't he?
I'm just thinking Rancor on the loose. Like, when I hear them say certain lines, I'm thinking that they want kids to scream this out as like a thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what's another, you know, like, they fly now? It's like that.
Oh,
it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing.
They fly now? They fly now! They fly now!
They fly now!
Rancor's on the loose! Rancor's on the loose! Rancor's on the loose! Like, it's...
Run! It's Godzilla!
And again, Boba's just saying, like, even if... It makes sense.
What?
Even if we win, there might not be anything left for us. He knew that this would happen. He knew that he'd let the Rancor out. He was like... Maybe he's just sadistic. He's like, it'd be really funny. These kids that I hide, like, what if I just watch them suffer and, like, and that
slowly get them killed.
Yeah. And what if, like, after all of this, I get the Rancor and I just let it loose? Like, I want there to be that sadistic, like, side of him, but we don't see that, and that doesn't exist. Like, that's just me trying to cope with this awful show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so Mando, he just takes control of the driver's seat for the Rancor, like how he did with this show.
Yeah.
Boba just hopped off, and so Mando's like, alright, I'll take care of it. Hops on. I mean, then gets taken off and, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff. And then Grogu just saves the day.
Yeah. Oh. Grogu can use the Force?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like every single other time Mando is about to suffer and die,
Every single time, he's
Grogu
like,
comes out and does the
music comes in and he's like,
and his hand. You got the really crazy
Yeah.
handshake. He was always like,
you know, he's probably thinking internally. He's like,
one day just
you die!
yeah, he's just gonna turn.
Unlimited power! You know?
Like,
Oh man, but every single time it's the same thing. He's like, it's like Joe Biden, like asking for help in the toilet, like.
yeah. And then we go to Fennec choking out the mayor and killing all the people. Look, the mayor's choking out. I will admit I was impressed with how kind of gruesome and like
Yeah.
it was.
Here's the thing though. Did the rope actually go under? Because
Yeah, I think it did. It didn't go because I know his like.
I thought it just went around his eyes, basically.
No, I'm pretty sure it roped underneath him and then it pulled him up.
How'd you do that? His mouth was in his back.
Yeah.
Right, like far back. So if you want to choke him out, you're gonna have. Where do you even begin? You have to be hugging his torso. So.
Somehow they choked him out.
Why not just shoot him too?
And just kill.
Why not choke out the fish guy? Choke out the fish guy.
No,
Shoot him out.
you know, what'd be ironic.
What?
Drown him. Get some water and just.
Speaking of which, why are these fish people so invested in this desert planet?
Yeah, they're like, this. You said this place would be hospitable, but it hasn't been. It's like,
You're a fish person on a desert planet. Literally a fish out of water. You know what would have made sense? Instead of selling them spice, why don't you sell them some bloody aqua? Oh, man.
and look, that one scene where like Fennec comes in, goes boom, 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 kills them all. That's what I wanted the whole series to be. Boba going to places,
Yep.
kicking butt, taking out other crime people, and this is all we get from Fennec at the very end. And basically, that's how they try to resolve it. It's like, and by the way, Fennec just killed them all. There we go.
Yep.
Problem solved. Could have done that at the start. When Boba went in to negotiate with this for the Sand People, but no. Also, it's the most useful thing Fennec's done all season, and she didn't speak.
Who?
Fennec didn't say a word. The most useful thing she did this whole season was take out all those
And
crime
say
people.
nothing.
And say nothing.
Dude, if Boba... Oh, man. If Boba was in that scene, there would have been like a fucking monologue from every party involved.
Yep.
And then he would have walked out killing anyone. And then the room would have inexplicably exploded.
Like, yeah.
No,
So
that's-
part of me is glad that it was that quick and dirty.
It'll be funny. She gets back after killing all of them and she's like, alright, sorted. What did you do? I killed everyone in the office.
That's a bit
heavy-handed.
Yeah, and then
Wait, you walked into his office and killed everyone? Did you have an appointment? No, I killed them all from the outside, so...
yeah, and then Boba's like, Wookiee, back to tank. Back to tanks don't solve all your problems! Especially with all the emotional ones they always talk about. The scars inside. We need a back to tank for that. For your emotional damage. Especially after this show. After the show, I have scars. And then... and then, just on the mentioning of, that's a bit heavy-handed. Then Boba's walking through the streets. People are loving him. He's like, oh. And then he says, we're not suited for this.
Then what was the point of the show? Huh? What was this all about? We get to the end of this turd-covered path. And what was the point?
He's like, maybe I don't like this. People died for me. We basically made enemies with a drug trade. People are being nice now, but I don't think this is the life for me. I think, I'm sick of being the leader and responsible for everything. I want to go back to working for the man.
Do you know what'd be funny?
What?
If, the fruit he got given?
Yeah.
He hands it to the Wookiee and just drops dead. Don't eat any of the food they give you.
But yeah, one something my quotes right here, everyone. It just says, like, what we're not suited for this. What is the point of the show?
We're not suited for making big decisions and doing the one thing we set out to. Well, no. Yeah, we could.
Same with the producers of this show.
Yeah.
Like,
We could have told you that before this battle began. You know, like.
but yeah, my main comment is just why? Why? Why?
Because they needed a Boba Fett show, and they thought, you know what? You know those retards we have working in the mailing room? Bring them in here.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're smoking weed.
And then,
right now.
okay, they do a nice cutaway shot that would go to credits, but no. Then we have to hear it. And good old Mando and Grogu are back at it again. This was just added because...
Wait, this is an after credit scene?
No, this was like one day they're like throwing the fruit and Wookiee and they pan away, then it goes to space.
Oh, yeah,
And then
yeah.
Mando's in space with Grogu, and Grogu's going... being a annoying little bugger.
Dude,
and-
if you know what my dad would do if I did that? He'd be like, just to have us go,
Don't, seriously, why didn't he do that? Instead of be like, no. That would have been so funny to go, boom, and then Grogu go, ah!
no, he like hits the glass so hard it knocks him out. Now he's asleep. Or just like, yeah, do the speed up and then stop.
And then all you see is just green blood across the screen. and then it's just like, Grogu, you okay? All you see is just blood dripping down.
Oh man. No, imagine him going to light speed with a kid in the back just unexpectedly. The blood's on the back because it's bread. Oh,
This is
man.
messed up, but guess what? It's the best part of the show.
Yeah.
Is us making up funny things.
But here's the thing, right? So his old ship
Yeah.
was essentially a minivan.
Yeah.
Right? He could
Yeah.
afford to like have the kid walk around and stuff like that. This one is like a sports car. He has to lock the kid in the back.
Yeah.
And go on potentially weeks long hyperspace runs. What's the kid get? Like,
Also, his bounty hunting job, like, as cool as the ship is,
it's not useful.
it's not useful because he can't store bounties in it. He can't have a squad. Like,
He's gonna have to bring everyone in cold now.
yeah.
Imagine he beheads everyone he kills and puts in the back with a kid.
I was thinking you just tie them to the front of the ship and then drive it into
Yeah,
space,
sure.
but...
Guess the end of where he's meant to drop the head off, the head's missing eyeballs.
and Grogu just...
Grogu! How will I identify this, Grogu?
and then Grogu's just...
They get to the drop point and he's covered in blood.
He's just... Dark side! Oh, this
man.
is so messed up. But you know what? It's good to have a laugh after this awful show. So you didn't need that ending scene at all with Mando. You could have just added it, at the start of the new show. Also, hearing Mando's theme and then it cutting and it being Fett doing Boba's Fett theme, again, very jarring. It's bad storytelling and
That was bad storytelling, Nathan?
Oh,
that was bad.
everything else before that too was bad. But I'm just saying, you don't need Mando and Grogu in it. We're going to see them in the next season. They don't need to be, because you could have had everything else happen. You didn't need Grogu and Mando. You could replace Mando with anyone else.
Literally anyone else.
And it would have been fine. The only reason why they had Mando and Grogu in it was because the rest of the show was absolutely pointless crap. It was just filler for the next season of Star Wars and they needed content. And so they thought, you know what, this content is really crap. We'll just put in the stuff people already like. Season the turd, basically. And then did you see the post-credit scene?
No.
There is a post-credit scene.
Is it, I saw pictures, I saw, Kylo Ren.
No.
Was it Kylo Ren? What was it?
It's the Marshal
Oh, he's still alive?
in the back to tank.
Oh. whoa, you're telling me that the guy who got shot once,
Yeah.
like a main character,
He's in the back to tank.
he's
Because that was the joke with the Wookiee. It's like, oh, I'll give you a nice back to tank. And then the cut to, it's not the Wookiee, it's the Marshal. And you know who's there? The mod guy. And he turns on his little knife thing and goes,
oh,
and then it's, vroom.
What are you teasing? Who cares?
We're done. We did it.
We actually did it.
We did it.
We had to talk about this, right, after we watched it. I have this another theory. You know me and my crazy theories. So, modern media, right?
Yep.
All this Star Wars Disney crap. The only way... They think the highest possible stakes is a battle at the end involving basically every character from the entire show.
Yeah.
Right? You know...
Basically, everything's an Avengers movie now.
Everything is an endgame now.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the highest stakes
That was the peak
reach.
they had, so they had to keep reaching that peak or go higher.
And they got to do it across everything. They can't have an intimate battle between two enemies. No. They can't have two ideas represented enemies clashing. No, it has to be every single person. Throw everything at the wall, chuck it all in the blender of combat, turn it on, and throw the turd slushy onto us at the end of it, and we'll just lap it all up, right? So... yeah, I think that because Disney is actually setting this precedent, I think it is going to catch on. I think that the next thing is going to be these big battle movies with all kinds of different superheroes like Warhammer. Star Wars will get more involved in the actual massive, you know...
combat, yeah.
I think that's the next paradigm for movies. You know, that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It all depends on execution, but...
yeah, but knowing Disney, it's going to be poorly executed, like you're saying,
Yeah.
in everything post the Endgame, basically.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen in Mandalorian. You know, it's going to end in a massive bloody battle with every single character they had in the season. Boba Fett's probably going to be there.
Yeah.
Who's the Bill Burr? He's going to be there too.
I like him.
I like Bill, yeah, but my point is, right?
He doesn't really make... He's just a criminal who shows up out of prison every once in a while that need a job.
Yeah. I can't believe he's come to get me again. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Yeah. Oh man, I wish they had the actual, like, the proper Bill Burr there, because he'd be cussing more than me. That guy, have you ever seen him on stage?
Oh yeah.
There was this one time, I think it was in Philadelphia, which is a hellhole. They had a Super Bowl win, and there was like this bunch of comedians going out on stage to do a thing for like a night, right? And the crowd was particularly awful to the comedian that went on before Bill Burr. Like, they were booing him, heckling him, throwing stuff, all stuff like that. And so Bill Burr's like, nah, they ain't doing that to me. And he went out there and he just called all of them scum, called them all the worst possible names. Like, I hope when you're driving home you get hit by a bus and you all die. And then when your kids are in hospital from the crash, they get cancer and they all die. You know, and you know what happened from that?
What?
They'll start cheering him. They love it. Bill Burr is a comedic anyway, but Disney has all of this stuff and they do nothing with it.
Yep.
By the way, can you edit this video? I've sweared too many times. I'm probably going to miss a bunch when censoring it. You won't. Up to you though. But it's just, I can't even...
This was soul-crushing, disappointing, humiliating.
Yeah.
It was actually really humiliating just to even consider that Star Wars fans would want this. And they have issues.
To even think that a human being might have written this is humiliating to our species.
It was bad. It was bad. So, look, we're going to keep reviewing shows. I think the next ones are going to be... The next Star Wars one's going to be Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
There's going to be big ones because they've got an hour long each episode.
Yeah.
Well,
first we have Halo.
But
and then the next day we have
Halo's going to be, I think, the more essential one, I think. Obi-Wan, I'm happy to see just to watch how it plays out. And you know what? If it's trashy, which I don't want it to be, but if it's anything like Boba, I'm happy to skip it and go somewhere else.
Yeah, same.
So
I was fine with... we were late to the party with Boba Fett. We were fine. None of us died, okay? I almost killed myself watching this crappy show. Oh, man. We only watched it because Shad's like, Oh, it's a slow day. I watch Boba Fett and review it.
Yeah, and then we kept doing it because we enjoy reviewing it. It's fun to do these types of roundtable discussions and deep analysis. But
reading the comments is fun.
yeah, but we definitely don't want to watch this show again. But we'll review more once. People have talked about Vox Machina.
Vox Machina. We'll watch 3 episodes. If we don't get hooked, we won't finish it.
Yeah, I'm not really keen on watching that one either because that one looks a bit too vulgar for my taste.
Really?
It's obviously off of the Critical Role.
Critical Role, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, dude, that's vulgar for you. I'm sitting right here. You know, like that's.
But I have to work with you.
Yeah, I guess. I'm bad influence.
So yeah, then we'll review more stuff. There's movies coming out. TV shows are always doing things, and hopefully we'll find a gem, and hopefully we'll finish reviewing Arcane. But until then. We are the Night's Watch.
And don't watch this show.
Don't watch this show.
Stay away from it. Don't
watch our episodes and, our reactions to it, because that's always fun. But don't give Disney your money anymore.
Watch Arcane on Netflix. Go do that. Now...
Watch the Christmas special from 1977 on Star Wars. It's better than this trash.
That's where Boba Fett originally came from. Christmas special.
Do you know the history of that show?
No.
It was the worst up until Disney took over. It was claimed the worst Star Wars property ever made. It was after A New Hope, and so there wasn't much world building done still. This was still when they didn't know Star Wars was going to be very big or not.
Yeah.
And
oh boy.
You go to Chewie's family where he has a kid and a wife, and Luke comes in with his X-Wing, and they have this whole... I think you should watch it just to see.
How long is it?
I don't know, maybe 45 minutes.
I'm not watching that. No, if it was 10 minutes, I'd watch it.
No, it's like a whole Christmas special they did.
Not doing it.
Anyways, if you want to watch that, tell me if you think Boba Fett's worse than the Christmas special.
I think Boba Fett is worse than anything I've ever seen in my life.
And if you want us to review particular shows, give us your comments.
Yeah, comment them down below.
Like definitely. We're looking at doing older shows and movies, but again, we
can't do anything too long running. That's the
issue.
We
can't do anything too long running, and we still want to be relevant. We want to watch, make videos that everyone can enjoy and kind of is in the public headspace. So, if there's anything you want us to review and do analysis like this, then please let us know.
Yeah.
So most of these videos, we've actually cut them off early, but I think this time.
No, we're not doing it there.
No?
We're not doing it there. We've got to think of something better than that.
Oh.
Dude, we did an ending where we started stripping naked, okay?
Okay.
And we cut before we actually got naked, because that was awkward, like getting dressed again.
Yeah,
okay?
getting dressed after seeing each other like that.
Yeah.
Should I do like a foot thing?
Dude, yeah. Okay, there you go. Take your shoe off, take your sock off, show the fans the feet. Dude, there will actually be fans that want to see the feet.